conversation yesterday talking about senatorial candidate James Tallarico, and there's news on the expected news on the Conyers on the Cornyn front with John Cornyn and his vote, his expected vote, his hoped for vote by Trump on Todd Blanche to become the Attorney General of the United States. How's he going to treat that nomination? Voting it out, will he get enough to vote it out of committee? Because that's a crucial step. And there are other things we want to discuss this morning. I want to begin by saying, listen, if you're old school, write this down. If you're old school, jot this down. This number is 713-668-1230. 713-668-1230. And now, if you're busy and you need to go to us on YouTube, which you can now, because I deliberately played those songs after I went on YouTube. I'm on YouTube now, so I played those songs afterwards, so I didn't have to worry about the entire video being taken down from today's show, right? So just know that. That's why sometimes when you guys call and you request songs, I just used to throw them on, and we'd play it, and you'd be presumably happy. However, we don't do that with our YouTube affiliation, and they send the YouTube investigators over, and I don't want to go to YouTube penitentiary, YouTube prison, whatever they're calling it. I don't want to get blocked out or banned. I know some of you know all about that. You can inadvertently do that. I know Little Rick used to go with them all the time. But I think that was Facebook where he was having that problem. And speaking of being on Facebook, let me say good morning to my brother Ali Muhammad, brothers Chris. How are you, sir? Good morning to all of you. Hey, John, good morning to you. Now, I'm giving you the number 713-668-1230. We've got our beloved usual callers out there. Well, regular callers. There's nothing usual about them. Let me say this. They are unique, stellar individuals themselves. But I've got to broaden the frame here so we can get more of you in as well, and get more of you in. If you're a new caller, I mean, it might seem daunting sometimes, but we'll accept your calls, and we have friendly conversations over here. And yes, we do get spirited from time to time, but if you're civil, you'll blend right in. Good morning to you, X, as well. And Ron Jackson, good morning to you. I'm inviting you to call, and if you go to YouTube, you don't have to call. You can chit chat. You can go to the community chat there and post your comments on that, so that we can interact with one another, other than by telephone. Other than by phone, so I can see what you're thinking. There are some issues out there that we want to get to. One is if you settle back for a moment, and for what I consider to be a brief moment, I want to talk about Iran and the war there. And I'm not going into a lot about Iran. I am going to, however, talk about my disappointment in the way it is being handled. First, disappointed that we had to get there through this route, if indeed we did have to get there. And caller, I see you. I see another caller. So let me hold on. We're gonna tell you to hold on, caller. Okay. All right. 28 minutes past the hour now. Let's talk about this war and the president's response to it, the administration's response. You may not have known this, but there have been nearly 100 U.S. troops injured in the last 2 weeks as Hegseth goes upon the Hill today to face senators. Now, I want to play some of that for you. I'm disappointed when I look at the reporting out of illnesses. I'm speaking mostly about veterans in this segment. If you know one, if you're related to one, if you have relative or kin folks who are in the military or have served in the military, then I want to make you aware of a couple of things that I consider to be important. U.S. injuries. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will appear before lawmakers in Congress today for just this purpose. And this is the first time since the escalation of the U.S.-Iran conflict. Nearly 100 U.S. service members have suffered some level of injury since July 7th, according to the Pentagon. However, the Pentagon has been slow to disclose non-fatal attacks. And that's where I want to pause for a moment. And then later we can talk about the widening conflict. There are other things that we can talk about regarding Iran. And then, of course, we have our local politics to get to today as well. But the Pentagon has been slow to disclose these attacks, and that's troublesome to me, that we would be slow to disclose the injuries to our troops. Now, this is not a blanket condemnation of that caution. There's a reason you don't publish casualties always. You don't publish everything about your troop strength. Some things you don't want in the public domain because you don't want the enemy to get them. I'm using that word deliberately because no matter what the president says, this is a war. And that gives rise to this commentary I'm making now. That's just the point. It is a war. Say what it is. In terms of conflict, yeah, you don't have to disclose everything, but I'm worried about something deeper here with this administration. We are so comfortable in America having our military go off to fight in our wars, conflicts, excursions, if you will. If you're naive enough to think that, or if you agree with that sentiment. But these are real people dying, and it deserves a real name. It deserves to be called what it is. I watched in fury yesterday as I'm looking at these numbers that were coming up. Suspect the government. I don't care who it is. Suspect the government. Hold the government accountable. We lied year after year in Vietnam. We softened the numbers, and John Kennedy began military escapade over there. And then it escalated, and LBJ, Lyndon Johnson, continued it. And when he tried to disentangle himself, he tried to get out, Richard Nixon came along. And they held on to that thing. And over a course of over 30 years or so, we wound up collectively with over 50,000 dead. And some say that's a low number. In any event, it was tens of thousands of our young women and men dying in conflict, in armed conflict. And I'm just thinking about real soldiers. These are real people. And when as I was listening to the news this morning, they were talking about the political consequences. And I reflected as I sat there and listened to that. They had just talked about how the administration had held back on these figures, and some of these people would be sent back to duty. Many of them are already back. All right, but there are many people who've not served in the military, and in today's society, most Americans don't even know anybody intimately, personally, who's been in the military. We don't have a draft any longer, and I say good, glad it's gone, right? However, that means that our citizens have less information about what life is truly like for soldiers, sailors, Marines, Coast Guard personnel, guardsmen, and the other people who serve in our military, in our reserve and active forces. So this morning, they talked about the problem for the dang gone president. Donald Trump doesn't have a problem. He's not going to war. Eric is not going. Don is not going. Ivanka is not going. Barron, more to the point, is very unlikely to go. I'd bet that's not going to happen. So we rush to the televisions, we rush to our media devices to hear what the president thinks about it, because he's supposed to be the people's contact to our official representatives. He is the chief contact. But he and this Congress, particularly the Republicans, roll over and let him avoid accountability. He took it up. They didn't let him do it. He did it, and they didn't stop him. And that is Democrat and Republican. At least the Democrats tried to hold him accountable. Now add the secrecy, the anonymity to someone who won't even speak to you, and you don't know what the hell is going on. This guy truly believes he can act like a king. He forgets there are 3 branches of government, and his party allows him to do that. And it doesn't have to be this way. It does not have to be this way. We should know not everything about our military. No soldier's going to tell you that. No service person wants that out there. That puts them in harm's way. So you don't let everything be known. But then if they really believed that, the doggone Secretary of Defense was up on Reddit. He was up online giving out flight information. So they're so hypocritical. So this is why you can safely avoid some of the things they say when they talk about things like morality and the things they're supposed to care about, and protecting the children and all of that, because they behave differently. This strikes home with me with the veterans. I saw the footage of the missile attacks, and these are ballistic missiles, a step up from mortars and 122 millimeter rockets, which those of us who were in Vietnam had to know about personally. It puts you on edge. It leads to mental stress. So I think about the poor civilians over there who are going through that. But when you separate it from it like that, I think about the soldiers. People are concerned about the president. Donald Trump is not going there, and we speak of it as if it's political strategy. No, the military strategy is taken care of. The military has its act together. The military knows what it is doing. They need the wannabes and the civilians and the cosplayers, people who like to dress up in war and talk like they're warriors. We need to get them out of the way and come up with a strategy that is fitting for them. But we think of it only as a political problem. When you do that, to think of it in that way allows you to hide the numbers of injuries. It allows you, because you're so damn selfish, you're just thinking like this is like COVID, or it's like jobless numbers, or it's like labor statistics, or any number of things. When you don't want to be accountable to the American people, you hide the bad news. And I want to let you know, these are real human beings, and I'm saying that over again for this reason. Those soldiers come back here, they deserve to be given pay. It's combat pay. And it started me thinking, and I said, I hope they have a mechanism for this. But when those guys come back here, those of us who are veterans have to fight for what we get now anyway. And then 2 months ago, they were trying to take those things back quietly. The benefits they already give. They make you jump through hoops. Sometimes when I'm not here and I say, it's like, look, I'll be out, and I mention the health thing, I'm running to people who are they're 40 years my junior, all right? If not 60-some, all right? At least 50 years my junior. They weren't in Vietnam. They went to medical school. They graduated. They are bright and intelligent people. They can't even understand some of the injuries that we're talking about. And the record keeping, by and large, is good, but it's easy to lose somebody's information. We've also had that happen to me. Let me be personal about that, right? And I'm saying, I'm getting mine, right? I'm thinking about what it took to get it. I'm thinking about the many other veterans I see when I started going over to the Veterans Administration, and I speak with real soldiers from different units, some combat support units, although in today's Army, logistics units are combat units. They have to build bridges and do all of those other things while under enemy fire. And to get injured over there, and being shot is not the only way to get injury. This one young man who died over the weekend was shot when they were trying to detonate a drone. They wanted to destroy it. There's death in a war in ways you may not even think of, and there's injury. Of course, weapons misfire. Things blow up, or get burned up, or cracked up. Vehicles roll over people. There are many ways to be hurt. And I'm hopeful that there will be somebody in this administration who is not cosplaying. I know the generals are doing what they have to do. These are warriors. I'm not talking about the fake guys who were newscasters and then they did something else. I'm speaking of the generals who go about prosecuting a war. But they're doing their jobs. No, it's the civilians I worry about, whose main concern, it seems, is to make the president be a tough guy. And there are people who do understand conflicts and warfare, and they're saying, no, it looks like the answer to this may be economic and political rather than a military answer. So we have our troops over there, and all I could think of was when the newscaster talked about, when the reporter talked about the president had made the decision that at the highest levels, he didn't say the president, but he's the commander in chief. The decision was made. They're keeping these things low. Now, I say again, I understand you can't report everything out, but with this administration, there is another part that bothers me. If they're not calling it a conflict, if they're not even giving it a name yet, how will they be listed when they leave the military? Or how will their injuries be recorded? And where are they recorded? I had this with a couple of people with someone in the medical profession, and I was assured, look, more than likely it'll be reported and they'll be able to get their money. And I said, yeah, that's been the case, but I'm not so sure with this administration, because they challenge even doctors. They hid cases of COVID. And they don't have honorable people in some of these new civilians they have appointed. And they'll fire people until they get people in there who agree with them and do their bidding. When you go to collect, you come home, you get your card, you get what you need, they'll give you that, and then you go to doctors, and the doctors will give you a diagnosis, and so you've got this, you've got that. So you go to put down what they've said, what bothers you. And this is where the trouble begins. If you got a missing arm or leg, that's sort of obvious, right? And you can account for where you were during that time. You were in Iran, I assume they're getting combat pay. So I would think so. That hasn't changed. However, it gets tricky when it's a concussion. Because when you are around those exploding munitions, it damages your eardrum. You can get concussions, headaches, reoccurring headaches, and a series of other things that can happen to you. And then, you know something? You have to prove that. you have to go to several doctors, perhaps on your own dime, if they fight you on that. So, well, it doesn't show. You know what an insult that is, to have somebody who is, well, as civilians, they're doing their job too. They're trying to keep their boss happy, because if you're working in federal government, you know that in today's military, of course the president is going to be the decider in chief. And if the president has sit down, I want as few of these things reported as possible, then when they come to put yours down, you're left with the luck of the draw, and it shouldn't be that way. And why do I think that? Because this is when you may recall, so when I said, this guy's a liar, how can you trust what he says? And sure enough, in COVID, I was saying that. Who hides? The man made the statement, well, look, here's the problem. We know about it because we reported it. We know about, the only reason you know about it is because the press told us so. That's why the reporting went up. In other words, that's why the numbers, the only reason we know about these additional cases is because we reported them. Well, yeah, you're supposed to report them. What other system do you have? That is circular logic. So we're doing all of these things in Iran. I'm thinking about these soldiers, and I just wanted to say that they're some of these kids. 19-year-old young woman, 19-year-old young woman was killed, and a young lieutenant. The young woman was 19-year-old, just out of high school. She was among the latest three. It looks like 3 Americans were killed, and there were 2 U.S. Army soldiers killed in Jordan. And the 2 I'm talking about right now are Tyler James Feehan. He deserves mention. And he was 25 years old. He is from Ewa Beach in Hawaii. And Isabella Gonzalez, she's 19. She's from Carrollton, Texas. And they were killed in the Iranian attacks. Feehan, a first lieutenant, will be posthumously promoted to the rank of captain and awarded the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart, and the Combat Action Badge. The Army did not provide details about his commendations. He was assigned out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, to the 32nd Army Air and Missile Defense Command. Feehan was just weeks away from getting a Master of Business Administration from Southern Utah University, according to the school, and they will reward his degree posthumously as well. Now, Ms. Gonzalez was a private with the 10th Army Air and Missile Defense Command in Ansbach, Germany. She graduated last year from Hebron High School in Carrollton, near Dallas. She gave her life in that service. Our district is heartbroken by her loss. This is from the administrator of the school district. He's the head of the Louisville Independent School District. The Louisville, rather. And now there's a third service member who was reported missing. I think they found his body now. And U.S. Central Command Sunday said that the unidentified remains have been found and were being examined. So the U.S. military says 17 service members have been killed in the war with Iran. That's killed, remind you of that. But I'm concerned also, I think the killed will be buried and their lives have come to an end, unfortunately. But when those civilians come back to this life, I hope we have a VA that is capable and staffed to follow them. So far, I find the advocates at the Veterans Administration, and no doubt the career people who work there, to be most helpful. But what do we do when these people, when there won't be enough, or there may not be enough trained staff to help these people? So, and we learned that these fatalities came soon after the war started. We know the president does not want to extend this war, considering what he's saying, for political reasons. It's not a good time for him. There's a midterm coming up. Wanted to make that observation. So, having said that, let's go to our lines this morning. 713-668-1230. 713-668-1230. Good morning, caller. You're on this morning.
Can you hear me okay, sir?
Yes, I can. I got you now.
Okay, now
Yes,
it
sir.
works.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First of all, hope you feel better. And you do. You went through that.
Yeah.
It's your program. But, no, look, ladies and gentlemen, let me just stay with you. No, before I even get started with the black hole and comment on past, ladies and gentlemen, look, if the honorable host of the show, is kind enough to mention your name, the least you can do is call in and say hello. I mean, some of you, it's not too much. What if it takes a few seconds?
I want some new ones as well. I want some new. Yeah, you're right.
I know. You know. Look. And he'll let me say this, even though he probably would feel the same way, or close by. He wasn't a veteran, okay? Obviously, he's a veteran, so he's partial and biased. He used the word biased yesterday, which I'll get to in my call, on the topic he's talking about this morning. But it goes back to what I say a lot. Look, if it's within your stratosphere or something you care about, or participate, of course that's what you're going to be focused in your time and your energy. But you have to, and I'm not talking to parents in general, if more and more people, like I said, and this particular example, but it applies to everything, if my guy didn't participate, of course he's going to feel differently. And it's been less and less people are going and like that. But if you're the parent or the brother or related to a 19-year-old, actually technically, forget technically, a teenager, right? 19 is a teenager, parent, a young lady, Gonzalez, a teenager killed in vain for what? Oh, in service. Yeah, I'm talking to myself in the service. No, the war's still going, and did it make a difference? Well, no, I wouldn't talk to their parents, but if I'm talking for you on a talk show. But the point is, before I move on, look, if you're a brown person, you're going to probably more than likely be considered a brown issue, or a black person, black issue. If you're into whatever work you do, that's your cup of tea, oil and gas, or whatever it be, or if you participated in our veteran, yes, it's going to affect your life. But no, and to be fair, that not everybody is in your same boat, and it's hard. Like reading a book or listening to music, if you're not into that scene, it's hard. And that's part of the magazine, the mega people. I mean, they have no clue or do not even care, however you want to word it, unless you're one of them. And maybe that's a phrase I'm looking. If you're not one of them, whether it be politically or veteran or in your workplace, whatever it might be out there, or into the music scene or media running scene, then you really honestly can't relate. You can read the books, listen to parents, and I understand what he's saying, I comprehend, but it's not the same. It's not the same unless you're a veteran, and there's less and less veterans.
Yeah, I know. It's true. And I want to go to what you just said. It can't relate to it. Do you think it's fair then that, let's give me your thoughts on this.
Sure.
They can't relate to the military, but that's what they do. They claim, they ride the flag. That's their thing. They are selling out these boot camps and gun stores and walking around with camouflage uniforms on, riding masks and acting like an army. And you triggered another thought in me I had earlier this morning, and I'm thanking you for it in advance. Because my thing is, if they're so damn anxious to fight, why don't they go to Iran? If Donald Trump has an army, he's giving them enough money. He's got the Proud Boys over there. He's got these people he's talking about invading Iran, putting boots on the ground. Why not send your guys? Why not send your guys? I mean, the nerve of these people, that's what I'm talking about, to not really care, to pretend they care about the military. And as you said, they don't ring the Pentagon and say, what's happening? What are you doing with our troops over there? What are you doing with our boys over there? They are removed from it. They like cosplaying. These senators who sit there on their heinies and talk about, yeah, we should go in and wipe them out. You know, we should go in and we should show them how tough we are. But there is no we when it comes to fighting. Not on their part. They don't. They talk tough. Pete Hegseth is not going to bust a grape in a food fight. All right, he's going to do pull-ups. He has some skill because he did spend some time.
He wasn't I know.
Okay, he was a major, but he's speaking in the service of one man. He's talking about and lying to not only to the American public. I can even set that aside, but I can't overlook how these troops are being treated, to the extent that we know anything about it. How they being treated there. That's all. I just want to point out that.
I know that. Paris knows it. The higher ups, especially the way it is now, hypocrites, liars, whatever, cheat, only what it benefits them and their family and their billionaires. What is Paris telling us that we don't know? And we just sit there and take it all. No, we'll talk about it and vote, obviously. Accountability, I hear that. But it leads me to my what I call it, moving on before, because I have to, look, Telerico yesterday, the talk, look, Perez mentioned about being biased, and most of us, because I never say ever, because there's some people who, like, I won't mention me, he's gone beyond that world. And it takes lots of deep inner work to say, okay, why do I feel this way? Well, let me try and get rid of it. But it's nothing wrong with being biased. Let me say, if you feel you would think differently about Telerico because, and I'll say it, because if he was black, what's wrong with that? Okay? No, be true to yourself. But if you really don't like his politics or the way he answers, well, he's doing the same darn thing most politicians do. Okay, it's not your first rodeo out there. You know how the game is played, the game of politics. There's nothing new.
Yeah, but then he doesn't sell himself as being another politician. That's what he said. He wanted to do. He says he didn't want forever wars. See, he can't have it both ways. He just can't. And I'm saying, who wants to follow that? Who wants to try to make? I think the fans of Trump, quite honestly, I think you guys have the heavier lift in this matter, because you got a guy who can get whatever he wants through, but the things that he wants to get, when he gets them, they always wind up blowing up in the faces of the American people. And some farmers and others, some of his fans, former fans, are seeing that now. I was listening to a farmer who talked about having to pay. The reporter sat down with him. They did the math. He's got to pay $130,000 for a sufficient amount of wheat. He buys it by the ton. He buys it by the. I think he said it was 20. It was so many dollars a ton, and he buys 26 tons, and that's what he has to pay now to get this fertilizer. In. See, so it's not the things that he does with swagger that might rankle people. No, we're talking about the things that really hurt people, and that's what I think is so unfair. There are people. Nobody voted for him to go into Vietnam. He didn't have the decency to even bring it before Congress, and the Republicans are feckless in this. They just they step aside and let him do that like it's not, and they are meant to be there. They are meant to be there.
Who are you talking about? My guy?
Yeah. Talking about.
Oh, okay. The audience heard me. I was bringing in the Telerico thing, but
okay. Telerico thing is good. You go ahead. Finish your statement on that.
That was basically my last statement on voting. Look, voting is about the numbers, and I understand the concept. People think, well, if my group votes. If 90%, or 10% more would have voted, Trump would have been in office. If Harris would be in office. but another group could say the same thing, and the other group, the brown people, eventually will wake up and they'll have the leverage because there's simply more of them, and they'll say, if 80% of brown people vote whatever way, we got the power and we can leverage it. But I'll bring you up more on that Friday. Have a good show.
All right. Talk with you later. All right. Hello, caller. Here's someone we haven't heard from in a while. Hey, hello. Good morning.
Hey, how's it going?
It goes well. What's good with you?
No, I just had a lot of stuff. I lost my mom a few months ago, so a lot of stuff going on. But I still listen when I can. But let me just say this: there's a lot of different avenues that lead to what the situation is now.
Yeah.
Of course, like I've said before, you go back to when we went in there and overthrew Iran, the elected officials that they had. The UK and America did that. And this is some of the residuals of what we're doing now. One of Trump's biggest problems is his overinflated ego. Now, he goes in there when we had when Obama had JOCP, I think it was. I know I got the letters right. But anyway,
it's a Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. JCPOA.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when we had that, so just because Obama did it, he goes in there and pulls out of it. Not saying like, okay, we got this plan, but I think we can get a better one.
Mm-hmm.
You don't pull out of something and don't have something in place.
Yes.
So it's like, that's where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, having dealt with all these countries, Vietnam, who's one of our friends now? Vietnamese are our friends now.
Right.
The Iraqis, he just hosted them.
Yeah.
They were our bitter enemies. We're friends with them. There's so many countries that we fought with, and you have to ask yourself, what do we gain? We went the Russians were in Afghanistan first in the 80s. They ran them out of there, so they didn't accomplish anything.
That's right.
Then we went in there, thought we were smarter, we could do better, and they basically, after 20 years or whatever, we left, people hanging on the plane, and who was back in control? The Taliban. So we didn't gain anything out of that. And every time we go to a war in another country and we have boots on the ground and we get these people over there to help us, what do? We leave them hanging high and dry. All those Afghans that helped us with translators and things like that, we left them and their families there. They were supposed to come over here and be protected. But we just said, forget it, we out of here. And that's, Republicans and Democrats, but mostly Republicans. Now, here's another thing that's starting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Trump and J.D. Vance, they have Zelensky come to the White House, and they ambush him, and Trump is like, when you see him do his hands from one side to the other open, he's lying.
It's his tail.
Watch that.
That's his tail, huh?
Yeah. So he tells them, you have no cards to play, so you better make a deal. But guess who's showing the rest of the world how to fight these big countries? They are. Because they're the leading country when it comes to drone technology.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we spent $20 million on this missile. Oh, we went to Walmart and got a drone and blew it up.
That's true.
So that's going to affect what Eisenhower said about the industrial military complex.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're spending billions of dollars and they spend a couple of million and they're more effective than what you did because the tanks, they're blowing them up with these drones. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, now how do you reconcile that? Because we're spending so much money, but we're running out of munitions.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to oil, if they didn't have any oil in the Middle East, we wouldn't even be over there saying one word.
Yeah.
But we're stuck in it now, and he doesn't know how to get out of it. He can talk all he wants, how tough we're going to wipe him out, and it's been shown you cannot bomb a country into submission. Now, Paris, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You've killed my father.
Yeah.
I think my mother, my daughter, all these people, and we're supposed to sit down and negotiate. These people remember that stuff, and those people over there, for the most part, they don't forget that stuff.
Yeah, and you know something, Andrea? You did it after you pulled out of an agreement that was, by all indications from those involved, working. So what does that say about everyone? Now you truly are looking to put me at a disadvantage. So I think what you're saying is that show, and this is my point too. It's like, no, I need a deterrent to you in the worst way now. So I'm not inclined to let you take the last weapon that I've been working on here, because you've shown me how you can be, you know.
And what did Colin Powell say, and it rings true today? You break it. You bought it.
You bought it. You know.
And when you ask people this, Paris, today, the 21st, are you better off today than you were before he took office? Well, let's look at gas prices. No. Inflation? No. Affordability? No. So since he's been in there, he's caused a lot of chaos. But the American people, like you said, the farmers, they've suffered, but they keep voting for him.
Yeah.
Like, he messed it up where China were buying all these soybeans, but then now who's the big market now? Brazil is. And it's like, if you're buying from Brazil, why would you come back to the United States? But he tried to make deals where they've agreed to buy so many tons of soybeans, but they could cut it off with a snap of a finger. They are in control, but he doesn't want to admit it. And when you start talking about your friends like, I don't need them, yeah, they didn't help us, but I don't need them anyway. So which one is it? Do you want my help or you don't need me? But if you're going to talk to me like that, can you help me now? You know what I'm going to tell you, like, no, you broke it, you bought it, so why you want me to help clean up your mess? And these people, I just don't understand how a senator especially, you're in there for 6 years and some of them are going to be there in there 2 years after he's gone. You have the power. He doesn't. He can't get rid of you. Now, he can primary you as basically when your term is up, but you have the power. But if you're just going to let him run over you, and I give him credit, like he's the pimp of the year. He is definitely
like Goldie. Like Goldie.
Yeah.
Like Goldie.
Yeah.
He's
the pimp of the year. Exactly. Because he has them so afraid. And if you're so afraid of losing your job that you'll go along with foolishness that you know and talk about him behind his back, you have no spine. You're what they call an invertebrate. You have no spine.
Yeah.
But it's going to get worse because he's going to be in there regardless if they take back the Senate or the House or both, hopefully. But he's still going to be in there. And there's certain things he's going to be able to do regardless. And you're going to have to basically wait him out. But these people that voted for him thinking like, especially, and I'm of course, if you're black, white, or whoever, brown, Hispanic, vote for whoever you want. But you better make sure you know what you're getting before you pull that lever, so to speak. And this is what you ended up with. It's not too many segments that you can point to where he's really helped the people that voted for him, the regular people.
Yeah.
Now, the billionaires, yes, of course, and he sticks his nose into everything.
Yeah,
no matter what it is. Just like Netflix wanted to buy Paramount, but he basically told them, like, look, Ellison, those are my boys. They're going to get it regardless. So they pulled out.
Yeah.
And everything he does is going to benefit him. And when you get to the point that your teleprompter operator is like, you know something? Everybody's making money. Why shouldn't I make some money? I know what he's going to say.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And I know that. I mean, it's unfortunate. It is, but people need to see the results of Donald Trump's behavior, and you can't make them admit it. You know that you can't make them. All you can do is hold it up in front of them, and with sooner or later, those who really are being aware, that consciousness will that awareness will have an impact upon hopefully their behavior, but it certainly will make them acknowledge that truth, you know. So it becomes important to say what's being said right now.
But Paris, here's another problem. If we get another president there, Democrat, let's say Democratic and maybe Republican, they're going to have to spend a lot of time cleaning up his mess. That's another problem. Because let's say if he left tomorrow, we still have the same issues in Iran. Like, well, we don't trust y'all because while we were negotiating, you and Israel were bombing us.
Yes, and then we got to pay for it, as you said, as you were saying, as you said earlier. People should remember every time they see these missiles, like they're on an Atari game. They don't even make Atari anymore, do they? Whatever on these games, that when you see those missiles go down, whatever they're hitting, it's likely America is going to pay for them. It's likely we are going to pay for the bridges that are blowing up over there. Yeah,
and Netanyahu has this way, and I give him credit if you want to look at it that way. He goes and tells them, like, oh, they're about to attack y'all or something, so we better hit them first. But Netanyahu is looking out for Netanyahu, and that's why they talk on anti-Semitism. But sometimes it's like, I just don't agree with the policies or whatever, because we're fighting their battle, but it's costing us.
Yes.
You know, it's like, we go in there and start bombing, but now you don't really hear much about Israel. He'll call them and say, don't do this. But Netanyahu is always going to look out for his best interest, and it's not always going to be aligned with Trump's. And that's why he gets mad sometimes. He said, well, I'm the boss and I tell him what to do and I know nothing else. Yeah, that's what you think.
Yeah.
So we're in a mess, and I like to think I could look at a few things. I don't know how we get out of this because, like I said, with the Obama plan, we had inspectors who was going to go in and go to different sites. We probably wasn't going to be perfect, but right now, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get off the phone. Now, this is another thing that just I don't get. They're lobbing missiles and drones at Jordan and Bahrain, all these other countries, and you know who's sitting back doing nothing? They're not doing anything. But I think if you're really going to do something, these countries going to have to get a coalition and say, you know something, we don't want to do it. We're going to have to put a can of whoop you-know-what on them because they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
They're bombing up civilians and stuff, and they're just sitting back, well, America's going to protect us. No, they're not. And it's not working. So it's like you got to come with a coalition and say, hey, look, we're going to blow y'all up, and I know, unfortunately, civilians going to be hurt, but that's what war is, unfortunately.
I thank you. I thank you for that observation. I do agree with you. People should remember, this war is costing us. You're going to be over $1 trillion in this war. And today, Pete Hegseth is on the Hill asking for additional money for this budget. And the whole thing came as a surprise to the Congress. So here we are now. That money that they get, I'm told that in the budget that they currently are asking for, Congress doesn't have an offset for that amount of money. The idea is on an offset is just like it sounds. You pay for a thing with one out of one budget. Well, you take that money from another budget and you put it over there. Normally from health care and those kinds of places, it's actually a transfer of money. Well, we're going to have to pay for this war. We're going to have to pay for the escalation in this war, and you make excellent points. But the final thing I want to say to you, Andrew, is there never any words for the loss of a loved, precious one. There never is for that. But I hope for your continued healing and your, the eternal recovery. What can I say? I lost mine when I was 12, and I still have those moments, right? And so, so I know something about that, right? And I'm just sending you my best and prayers.
Hey, I appreciate it. And love your show, and I'm gonna now that I have more time, I'll be listening again, and I'll call every now and then. But I just don't know. I'm just throwing my hands in the air because we're in the we're in the crapper.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. You couldn't have ended it better. You've shown your expertise and your knowledge and your command of the vernacular of war, but I think you just described the whole diplomatic situation. Ladies and gentlemen, as Andrew says in his campaign run for president, we are in the crapper. Thank you so much.
Take care.
All right, man. I like that. It's 16 after the hour of 10. All right. ITC's been given a new definition. We are there. It's a big map with an outhouse. You are here. Okay, I got it. All right, stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Callers, please hold on. I got it.
Remember when $100 filled a grocery cart? Today, it barely gets you started. If you're retired or planning to retire soon, you may be concerned about how inflation could impact your future income. Inflation doesn't retire when we do. Everyday necessities continues to rise. The question is, will your retirement income keep pace? You may have spent decades building retirement savings, but retirement isn't just about what you've accumulated. It's about what you can spend. Inflation can impact purchasing power and create challenges for retirees living on fixed incomes. At Advanced Wealth and Retirement Planning Concepts, we help individuals evaluate retirement income strategies and explore options that may help support their financial goals. Call today for your complimentary retirement income review.
Retirement doesn't come with a do-over, but the retirement is around the corner, already here. Now Now is a great time to review your plan. Schedule your complimentary retirement strategy session today by calling 832-402-8367. Investment advisory strategies offered through TLG Advisors Inc. An SEC registered investment advisor. No tax or legal advisement is given.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Hi, I'm JJ Walls with Sunnyside Dental, and yes, it's now been over 30 years that we've been providing quality dental care for our patients in the Houston area. It's now come to my attention that many of you that want to come to Sunnyside Dental have Medicare plans that we don't accept. Hold up, that has got to change. Sunnyside Dental is now accepting most Medicare dental plans. WellCare, Liberty, United Healthcare, Cigna, Kelsey Care Advantage, Amerigroup, Aetna, and many more. We're getting on board. Call Sunnyside Dental at 713-738-1999. If you have Medicare and would like to receive a personal touch provided by Sunnyside Dental, call us at 713-738-1999. We look forward to helping you achieve the smile that you can't wait to share with the world.
Got Medicare dental benefits? Call Sunnyside Dental 713-738-1999. Informative, entertaining, inspiring. It's the Jackson Political Report, hosted by veteran political strategist Ron Jackson. Ron will discuss local, state, national, and international politics. The show features commentary, guest interviews, and audience dialogue. The Jackson Political Report, this Saturday morning, 10 to 11 on 1230 KCOH, The Source.
This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer. Listen to my show every Monday from 11 to 12 on KWWJ 1360 AM, KYOK 1140 AM, KCOH at 1230 KCOH.com, Sangeet Radio at 95.1 FM 1460 AM, and Latino Sports KEYH 850 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.
A Tip from Gilbert, Mondays 11 a.m. on 1230 KCOH, The Source.
Hey, we are The Source. Good morning. It's 21 minutes after the hour. Hello, caller. You're on.
Good morning, Brother Paris. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
First and foremost, my condolences go out to those service members that lost their lives, Miss Gonzalez and other service members that lost their lives to this war that this new president got to the American people into.
Okay.
But you know what, Paris, I was just kind of wondering myself, remember they changed the draft age now from 18 to 42.
Mm-hmm.
Is that youngest boy of Donald Trump's Byron? He just turned 50. He ready for the draft. I doubt it. You know, and then the other kids they have, they also eligible to go into the military. They just want to get other people's children, you know, caught up in this situation, get them killed. So I wonder, and if Byron Trump has not registered for draft, then he's committed a crime.
Yeah.
If you let it go to somebody else, as soon as you turn 18, they automatically get your information. You know, they got it where they change now. But I want to find out Byron, because he turned 20 now. You know, I hope he don't have bones for it. They got bad feet like his daddy did. I'm just saying. But you know, Perry, I listen to your previous caller, man. He make a lot of valid points, man. I'm like, can you imagine, Perry, we in the war, and people say Donald Trump's been a successful businessman, but the man had 26 failed businesses. And I heard you guys talking about the farmers and the fertilizer there. Can you imagine being a farmer right about now, Perry?
No, it's right.
You would be mad as all outdoors.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. They up there through your nose on this one. And you know, remember they got burned the last time, but they went back to that. You know, they went back. They went back to the well. So, you know.
Yeah, and Terry, we was having a conversation, myself and some of the fellas. We have one of the real conversation, truth conversation. I do believe, Terry, my heart is hard. Most people, they voted for Trump, Perry, because they could not, you know, accept the fact you have possibly have a woman, a black woman in that all. It wasn't just about her being a woman. Mm-hmm. It was being a black woman. Now you got to ask yourself, if Kamala Harris been the president, do you really think we'll be in a war right now, Perry, especially since the war? If Kamala Harris was one, you think we'll have these, you know, these high dollar gas prices right now and all these other issues? After these people would have swept past her being black, first her being a woman, Perry, I guarantee you we'd not be in no senseless war with Iran right now.
Well, I don't think so. No, I think you're right, and that's because, for one thing, the JCPOA, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, had gathered support. It was a very unusual deal. As we weren't in this position before Donald Trump touched it, before he withdrew from that deal. And everything that is happening now was foretold. And though many of the people who told him so have probably been fired or let go, we know they're no longer there. And so the people around him who said, oh, you can ignore that advice from those softies, they're the ones who have helped push him in this direction, helped get him what he wants.
Hey, Perry, you said something earlier about those, I guess the neighbor people, you know, they put their camouflage gear on and buy all the guns and the weapons, and they love America that much, and let them go out there to Iran first, and then they send the regular military, they so make America great again.
Yeah, they love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, you know, that's a valid point. Let them go out there. They want to go buy the guns, all the weaponry, but you know, one day they don't stand, Paris, like you guys saying about Afghanistan. You know, those people, they're going to fight you back with everything they got. You know, they Russia tap out and get out of there.
Right.
They say, okay, and they got to understand these Iranians, they some different kind of people, different kind of culture, a different kind of understanding. It's kind of like you got a David Goliath now. Look like this one I'm standing, you know, I got my mind on David.
All right, man. All right. That's a good bet. Okay, all right. Bye-bye. We out the source. Hello, caller. You're on. Good morning. Yes, sir.
Man down, Eddie.
What's up,
man?
What's up? Yeah.
Back. So, hey, man, so, man, you doing a good job, so I don't care what nobody says. John was wrong coming in yesterday talking about mathematics, man. Man, can you kind of remember when we had reading, writing, and arithmetic?
Reading, writing, and arithmetic. You remember what we used to call them? You remember what we used to call them? The three R's. 3 R's.
Hey, then you came in with new math.
Oh yeah, the binary system broke my brain.
And John said, loosely explain to you, say, it depends on what number system we talking about. So when you say 1 and 1, say, first thing you say, well, and what number system are you talking about? You know?
Yeah.
And which politician said this, and how much time he had. He said, well, you know the rules of the game is, I remember when I worked for one of the several sisters, okay? So this dude came down, this head, what they call it, the headed man, came down for headquarters there. Now we got the open door policy, but he drew a big old circle and put it down in the middle. Now this is the only thing we're gonna talk about. You came in there, you want to tell them about man, I don't think you have enough cokes in the coke machine. And we are not going to talk about that today. The only thing we're going to talk about is the dot. You know what I'm saying? So you come up and up there with your guns loaded and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, you remember when everybody thought Abram was crazy, right? He said, I heard somebody say, leave your people, and I'm gonna take you to a place and promise. And then after you get to be 99 years old, you say, and now I'm gonna change your name to Abraham. I mean, come on, man. Say, what the heck? What's going on? And so, but
yes, sir.
You're doing a good job, son. So we just and why don't you stop? That's stuff, man. Last time we got the audio messed up.
I know it, man. There's a lot of stuff.
Give me some duct tape or some super glue and magic mark and mark. And living years no better. See that kind of Ricky on it, Rico was talking good, but we couldn't hear him, Paris. So, just like my first class mother, we need to be like Aaron and her and help Rico out because we need somebody to translate and hold his hands up. And especially, we know that we're okay. You know, some of y'all okay, but we need them to get in the harvest, bring in the sheep. We need them to bring in the Hispanics because that's the only way you're gonna be able to take Paxton down. But if not, if we keep on going backwards and forward, have you been shooting? No. Well, all the pills in your pocket, in your mouth and stuff. Next thing you know, we become the Texas all up on you. Thank you, man.
All right, buddy. Bye. Thank you, Bobby Ray Tyrone. You know what? I gotta ask Bobby his thoughts on the action that's going on over there, the Iran thing. But we got our situations at home we have to take care of. On the political front. Hello, caller. You on? Yo, Big Jeff, what's going on? Military man. Yes.
Yes, sir. All the way, sir, all the way. Yes.
What you got on your mind this morning, bro? Let's talk.
Oh, man. There's so much going on right now, brother Paris, man. I mean, but we gonna make it, man. We have been through 400 years. Hard grinding. And we'd have made it this far.
We'd be like Little Milton. Little Milton, right?
Yes, sir.
May not have a cent to pay the rent. We're gonna make it.
We're gonna make it.
What a song.
Yeah, I love that song right there.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I want to talk a little politics, chapter a little politics this morning. She's been on my mind and on my heart.
Okay.
Miss Jasmine Crockett.
Yes.
And Rico, I seen him on YouTube. You know, I seen him at meeting he had up in Dallas. Is that the meeting Bo was talking about yesterday? That's not the meeting, is it? We can't go in Houston, Arizona. We can't go all the way to Sono, Texas, man, to go to.
No. They had a meeting. They had a couple of meetings. One's at the Power Center. You were talking about the one at the Power Center.
Okay.
Over at the Power Center, and there's a couple more going on. And in just a few minutes, we're going to get some of the details about that. You know, I do know that X was talking about it yesterday also.
Okay.
But we're going to also have some conversation about Tallarico. He has made news. He has made news recently with some announcements, and we want to see what's happening with black voters on that. What has been the voters' response on that? So we're going to talk about that as well. But yeah, he was at the Kingdom Builder Center over here in Southwest, and he had some black elected officials with him, and we're getting different kinds of reports. You know, there were disgruntled people there, and there were enthusiasts and allies there. And interestingly enough, there were also, not unexpectedly, some opponents there. And so it was, the impression I got was, it was overwhelmingly a friendly, overall a friendly audience. But there were people there who, some say, came to just sow dissent. so we don't know, you know. So we don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that one that I seen, well, it's on YouTube. You know, and he, you know, he sounded real good. I mean, he was he talked to the people there in DeSoto, right outside of Dallas.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was sounding real good.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's either him, the other guy, you know, that's the only two voters.
Only two.
That's running against each other.
Yeah. Ken Paxton.
Yeah, Ken Paxton.
Yeah. That's what that's going to come down to. So we'll John Cornyn. I'm sorry, John Cornyn, man. I got Ken Paxton in mind because I was thinking about. I was thinking about. I was actually thinking about John Cornyn. I had John Cornyn on my mind, but yeah, Ken Paxton. Yeah.
He got a big decision to make. I want to see what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
You know, this decision he got to make after, you know, how Trump did him.
Yeah.
Him under the bus like that. I was gonna see how he gonna stand. Is he gonna be, you know, weak, or is he gonna be? He's going to stand up 10 toes down. That's what I want to say about him, Mr. Cornyn.
Yeah. Well, I'm given to understand that Donald Trump has in between a rock and a hard place. He's because now he needs his help. He needs his help in getting the in getting the Todd Blanche nomination through.
The karma coming back to Trump now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
It's at the corner.
Yeah.
It's up to him to see what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And just one other thing I just wanted to talk to you about, Miss Crockett.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now Miss Crockett, man, she's an intelligent lady, smart and everything, you know, educated. But see, sometimes, fellas, you could be too smart. You could be too smart for your own good. Now, people, you know, I'm just like that, man. I'd rather tell you the truth than a lie to you. So I'm just telling her the truth, you know, how I feel about it. We were trying to tell her, hey, look, John, you know, you got time now. You need to get a phone bank together. Get your signs together. Put your signs out there in these neighborhoods and everything. And, you know, kind of let these people know, get familiarized. You know, well, she said, well, I don't need nobody trying to tell me how to run my campaign and all that, see. But the creator give you 2 ears and 1 mouth. That's for, I mean, he wants you to listen sometime more than you talk, you know. Well, this is what the people who vote for us telling us this is what you need to do. Now, and she didn't. She waited for the last minute. She run up there. I don't know what happened when she got it in the soda up there. But all the people that came there didn't get a chance to vote. Well, you know, that's yeah, you know, like we used to say, she was stepping out with the full 30-inch step. You know?
Yeah.
You dragging. Well, in a campaign like that, you got to be snap, crackle, and pop, eh?
Well, I think there was I know she had lost some time in getting it. She hesitated for a moment on whether she would run or not, and she didn't have. She apparently could have done better, but she didn't have a long enough runway, I think. And so because that is true, that had an effect on it. And then there were problems at some of the polling places, blah blah blah. You know, it's one thing. The fact is, though, that election is over, and we've got Tallarico facing Ken Paxton, and that's going to be the lineup on the ticket. That's going to be the lineup on the ticket right now. You know, they'll always, you can explain what went wrong. You can explain how things happen, and it's unfortunate. But right now, we're going to have to vote. We're going to have to vote, and you have to decide what you want. You know, our listeners are going to have to make a choice. That's what's going to come out.
Sir.
Voters are going to have to make a choice. Yeah.
Yes, sir. The only thing we need to do is go vote.
Yeah.
That shit on the post down there, it don't make no difference and all that. I'm gonna check this one out. We got to go and vote, and pretty sure they know who to vote, who not to vote for. I think they know who to vote for.
Yeah.
But I just want to say who not to vote for.
Yeah.
And man, this bad situation going on right now. What's going on in this office, and they letting it happen. I mean, the Supreme Court, I mean, the Congress, you know, they letting it happen. They sitting back letting it happen. You know, kids dying prematurely. You know, it makes no sense if it was something something real we was going to war for, to be something different. But just because you jumped up and wanted to try to get the smoke off you, you know, with the Epstein case, you know, you sending our kids to war, and nobody seems to be saying anything. You know, it's ridiculous, man. I mean, this country is like, it's going to the bottom, the way things going right now. And the citizens are sitting back, letting it happen. You know, they just letting it happen. They know that Trump doing ain't right, man. And they letting it happen. The Congress and the Supreme Court, and it's true. But maybe we can try to get some things straightened out in the midterm. All right, Jeff.
Jeff, my man, I want to thank you so much, Jeff, as always. It is an honor. It is an honor, my brother, to have you call. 19 minutes before the hour of 11 o'clock, I am Paris. I am Paris this morning. You know, interestingly enough, we talk about I could play that? Okay. Good. Got my guy in here. I just checked my volume this morning because then I get a call from Bobby Ray, and yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the meters here. They do seem to be low. So we'll have to get our guys in here. We'll have to get our guys in here as usual. You know. As a matter of fact, you can use that one.
You want to take a break and set it up?
Yep, sure do. When we come back, we're going to talk about State Representative James Tallarico. We are going to, well, let me take this call. We're going to take this call. Hello, caller. You're on. Good morning.
Paris.
Hey, what's Gucci with you? What's going on?
Oh man, everything, my brother.
Yes, sir.
I'm just enjoying the show, Paris. I forgot the Marine name, but you're doing a good job.
Bobby Ray Tyrone.
Bobby Ray Tyrone.
Yeah, my favorite Marine. Yeah.
Yeah, mine too. Paris, you know, I was like the other guy he calls back. My whole thing is, man, just sit back and listening and watching this administration, so-called administration, and you don't want over there, man, and kill all these people, these children, most of all. Life is life, but those people are not going to forget, Paris, what this country has destroyed through this president. He's caused more hurt and harm
to the likability of this country, if I'm using the right word or not. But I don't understand how he can go in there without a plan. Everything he's done as president, he hasn't had a plan for the health care. I'm gonna get rid of Obamacare. I got a concept of a plan, and nothing came in about it, and we heard nothing else about the health care. Now you went over there and you know bogarted Venezuela and all this stuff like that. Those people don't have a military to fight back. Like Ukraine is fighting back against Russia. Like you say, Jeff say, hey, not Jeff, but I forgot this guy's name. I'm going with David right now. So perhaps that's what my whole thing about it. You don't know, went over there to kill all these people over there, and those people are not gonna forget what you have done over something that already was in place with Obama and the rest of the countries with what is concerned with having a nuclear weapon over there. You destroyed that without a plan. And that's my whole thing about what's going on right now. The man don't have a plan.
All right. You know, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for that. We are The Source. We're going to take a break. Thank you so much for your call. We're going to take a break, come back, get with you. It all happens right here on 1230 The Source, YouTube.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Hi, I'm J.J. Walls with Sunnyside Dental, and yes, it's now been over 30 years that we've been providing quality dental care for our patients in the Houston area. It's now come to my attention that many of you that want to come to Sunnyside Dental have Medicare plans that we don't accept. Hold up, that has got to change. Sunnyside Dental is now accepting most Medicare dental plans. WellCare, Liberty, United Healthcare, Cigna, Kelsey Care Advantage, Amerigroup, Aetna, and many more. We're getting on board. Call Sunnyside Dental at 713-738-1999. If you have Medicare and would like to receive the personal touch provided by Sunnyside Dental, call us at 713-738-1999. We look forward to helping you achieve the smile that you can't wait to share with the world.
Got Medicare dental benefits? Call Sunnyside Dental 713-738-1999.
All right, we are The Source. It's 13 minutes before the hour of 11. Hello, caller, you're on. Hello, caller, you're on.
Yeah, what's going on, my brother?
Hey, how are you doing, sir?
Magnificently.
Good. What's happening? Tell me about it.
Oh, just wanted to piggyback the last gentleman saying, we have a new breed of president who pretending to be like he's dreaming out his dream of being a commander-in-chief of our military, strongest might on his earth. We know his background. He eliminated himself from going to the military 5 times. And so, essentially, that I ran today, they said we in full-scale war. But no matter what Peter Bailey say, I can guarantee you that they mean what they say, and they do exactly what they're doing. They know that the United States prices is going up. They know that Billy Bailey lied in his campaign speech and said first day he's going to make everything bring back affordability. He's going to reach the price. Everything that he say, he speaks with forked tongue. Like my red brothers once said, and still saying. But this fella then got the United States in a pickle. There is a no way out. And eventually, with his back against the wall, the only conversation he's going to have is a nuclear bomb. Because he is a
got more respect for them. At least they was in uniform. They served in the military. So, United States, you put him in office, and he gonna tell you to your face, you put me here. Yeah, I lied to you, but if you would want me to tell you the truth, I came here to make billionaires with you, my family with you. I know how old I am. I don't have that much longer. So I'm going to get all this money for my family. I'm going to put my face on everything that I can put on. Whether it's a nickel, a new quarter, $200 bill. Well, I propose this. When you put, if that happen, which it will happen, on the back of the bill, it should want to be president, and on the other side of his picture, most definitely a pedophile. And before I go past, I'm going to make 100%, 500,000% true statement. Donald Trump always missed and put his face up there on Mount Rushmore with the other four distinguished presidents. But I pose to this audience, which includes the world, hopefully, that if there should be a presidential face up there as the fifth place, it is totally undisputable. The first black man president, and not only was he the first black man president, but the first person of color to be a repeat president. Trump didn't do that. That's why he's jealous. So I'll vote. I need somebody second emotion, third, and all that. The president, somebody nominate President Obama face be put up there. First black president in the history of the United States. Donald Trump ain't made no history. Only thing he made that he's a thief, the most thieving president that the United States has ever had. And anybody dispute that, please call in. All
right. We want to thank you. Yeah, but if anybody's going to be on Rushmore, you certainly are. You know what? I can agree with that. I really hadn't thought about it that much. Of course, well, I hadn't thought about it in depth, in detail. But if they were going to put another president up there, it should be President Obama. That's what I'm going to say. 8 minutes before the hour. We're going to get back to you in just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. We've got more information, and we want to talk about an announcement that was made last night, and so we want to get to
This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia with a tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer. Listen to my show every Monday from 11 to 12 on KWWJ 1360 AM, KYOK 1140 AM, KCOH at 1230 KCOH.com, Sangeet Radio at 95.1 FM 1460 AM, and Latino Sports KEYH 850 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.
A tip from Gilbert, Mondays 11 a.m. on 1230 KCOH, The Source. And now, a message from the future frequency.
Young voters, Gen Z and millennials, if you're ready to make your voice count, here's how you make it happen. First, register to vote. It only takes a few minutes. Just look up your local election office and follow the steps for your area. Next, verify your information. Confirm your name, your address, and your polling location so nothing slows you down. And don't wait for election day. Vote early. Pick your day, pick your time, and skip the lines. Make your plan to vote early and vote to be heard. The future is live right now, and you're the frequency.
We
gon' be alright.
This message is powered by Diversity of Thought and proudly sponsored by 1230 KCOH, The Source.
Remember when $100 filled a grocery cart? Today, it barely gets you started. If you're retired or planning to retire soon, you may be concerned about how inflation could impact your future income. Inflation doesn't retire when we do. Everyday necessities continues to rise. The question is, will your retirement income keep pace? You may have spent decades building retirement savings, but retirement isn't just about what you've accumulated. It's about what you can spend. Inflation can impact purchasing power and create challenges for retirees living on fixed incomes. At Advanced Wealth and Retirement Planning Concepts, we help individuals evaluate retirement income strategies and explore options that may help support their financial goals. Call today for your complimentary retirement income review.
Retirement doesn't come with a do-over. Whether retirement is around the corner or already here, now is a great time to review your plan. Schedule your complimentary retirement strategy session today by calling 832-402-8367. Investment advisory strategies offered through TLG Advisors Inc., an SEC-registered investment advisor. No tax or legal advisement is given.
In life's most difficult moments, comfort matters. At Lord Edward Memorial, we believe every life is a blessing worth honoring with dignity and care. With a combined 60 years of experience, our compassionate staff walks beside your family with faith, respect, and understanding. Lord Edward Memorial, serving families with grace, compassion, and heartfelt care. Visit us at 6677 Rookin Street, Houston 77074, or give us a phone call at 346-446-6675.
All right, we are the source. We are the source. Delighted to be here. Delighted to be here with you. It's 4 minutes before the hour. Lots to discuss. Lots to talk about. We've got great stuff. Got to say good morning to my guy Ron Jackson. We're going to talk with Ron. We're going to talk some politics. We're going to talk politics here at home. So good morning to you, Ron. How are you, brother?
Good morning, all as well. Interesting show that you had this morning. A lot of I get some positive energy over there from the callers this morning that are calling in.
Yeah. There seems to be some excitement going on, and it seems like several of these people are just geared for there's a warrior mentality out here, just ready to take on this battle, and they'd like to see some changes on several fronts. Before we go further, is that what you are looking as you Ron Jackson is a political strategist, consultant, and analyst here, and Ron, is that what you're getting around the country? These generational changes. I'm thinking about Mamdani in New York, Sayed in Detroit. In Michigan. Is there a generational change going on here? Menifee here in Texas. What are you feeling? Younger voters?
Yeah, that's what's in the air in those certain particular states that have the demographics to match it as what has happened in New York. The Menifee effect was here in play, but we also had over in the background of the 18th Congressional District with the two deaths of the late Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee and the late Mayor Congressman Sylvester Turner played a factor in that, with the age factor with Congressman Al Green and Congressman Menifee. So that one had some other factors to it. Yeah, but it is looking like the younger generations, specifically over in Tennessee, also will be making their voices heard. But the thing that I'm looking at mostly to see if this all comes together in an organizational standpoint of view, because you could be energized, but you have to be mobilized. And you have to be mobilized specifically when we're dealing with the national politics, because it's going to start from the top down, as we can see that
still trying to push, I believe, to no avail with this budget reconciliation budget that he's trying to push through with aid to money to Iran, but specifically trying to slide in the Save America Act, which was a voter suppression bill specifically dealing with, I would say, women who have been married and their names does not appear on their voter registration as it does maybe on their license, where there's a conflict in the names over on the rolls and the names on their driver's license. So even right now, I urge our listeners who are in Harris County to go to harrisvotes.com and go to registration, voter registration, and look to see how you're listed on the roll books of Harris County and how it compares to your name on your driver's license. And for those who are in Fort Bend, go to fortbendelections.com, go to voter registration, and do the same, because there could be a particular tool at the polls that they would want to use to either to get you to vote on a provisional ballot, which after the election is over on November 3rd, it would give you a couple of days, a week or so to go back in and prove that you are the person, which you still would come down to what he wanted before being able to have it and show it over on your birth certificate. So these are some of the pressing tools I think that will be coming down the line, and it is already has happened, because I've mentioned it over on my show, the Jackson Political Report, on Saturdays from 10 to 11. One of our elected officials during the May runoff had an issue at a polling place. That was Kathy Bluford Daniels. And as you can see, Kathy Bluford Daniels, those two last names. And when she got there, she was having an issue with the precinct judge, who was from another area of town, who had came to work in the African American community. She was a white female, because we had those dual elections that were going on, Republican and Democrat, over in the primaries. But that was a problem and an issue with that. Of course, her being a savvy person as she is, she was able to straighten that out. But how many others could run over into that particular similar problem?
No. It can be a sticky problem. So the enthusiasm is encouraging for the Democratic Party. They're going to have to tighten up their message, though, because even with the enthusiasm, as you said, you've got to mobilize people to get out there. You've got to mobilize people to get out there and vote.
That was interesting, because I was listening to your program on yesterday. Very, very good program. Very good participation by the community, and it was the part that was centered around the town hall meeting at the Kingdom Builders Center. That's formerly the Windsor Village.
Yes.
Church. It's now called Kingdom Builder Center, and I heard a lot of people were making some assumptions about what was happening, but I happened to be there, I thought it was a very good and informative meeting for 2 hours to come and reach out over to the African American community for questions and answers. I had, right after the May runoff between Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett, no, that wasn't a runoff, because Tallarico won right out in the March 3rd primaries. The runoff, they were waiting to see who he would face between Cornyn and Paxton. So on the 27th of May, I interviewed Tallarico, and one of the questions I asked him was that I was hearing a lot of murmuring going around about will Jasmine Crockett be supporting him on the campaign, specifically going into urban areas? And he was kind of unsure in his answer. He welcomed her to be on the campaign with him, and because of the amount of respect he said that he had, that he has for her, and wanted her to be there with him. So, but that was in May. Now we know that there's distance between over the campaign. She did not show up at the Texas Democratic Convention, and has said she's been distanced from him. Mm-hmm. Another question, Paris, that I asked him was, what were you going to do? What your commitment to the African American community? Because everyone knows that in order to win, that African American vote is the key issue. And he addressed that at Windsor Village on Sunday, and I think you got that clip.
Yes. All right, here we are. Let's pick it up.
Elect down ballot candidates all over Harris County, all over this region, in Fort Bend, and across the state. I was a down ballot candidate when I first ran for office, so I know the struggles. It's not easy to raise money as a down ballot candidate. It's not easy to recruit volunteers, and you need a relationship between the candidates at the top of the ticket, Representative Hinojosa and I, and candidates at the bottom of the ticket. And it's got to be a relationship because, like you mentioned, it doesn't just benefit those down ballot candidates, it also benefits us at the top of the ticket. Because it's going to be those down ballot candidates that are registering voters, that are knocking on doors, that are turning out the vote in all of these communities. So it is a symbiotic relationship. So on a few things, you mentioned money. One, I am proud to say that for the first time in 20 years, we are putting together a true statewide coordinated campaign where we are working as the top of the ticket candidates with the state party, with our county parties, with our down ballot candidates. We have not seen that kind of coordination in a long time in this state. And now it's not gone perfectly. We're Democrats, right? What's the Will Rogers quote? I don't belong to an organized political party, I'm a Democrat. So we're, it's kind of like herding cats, all of us. But we have seen remarkable progress in getting us on the same page, in pooling our resources, including our money, to be able to help one another. Because in a democracy, politics is a team sport. I'm not interested in being a lone ranger. I only want to do this if I'm part of this team. And that is folks at the county level, the city level, the school board level, to make sure that we have good servant leaders up and down the ballot who are winning office and delivering for Texas. So you have my commitment there. And then you mentioned investments in black voter outreach. I want to caution all of us because fundraising projections are just projections. We still have to do the work. I've got to be asking you for money via text. I've got to be showing other fundraisers. Don't ignore my texts. I was in an event the other day and I was speaking like this and they were like, "We just got a text from you." I was found out. But we are confident that we can say that we are planning to invest $25 million into black voter outreach across the state. And that would represent, just to put that in context, that would be the largest investment in black voter outreach in the modern political history of this state.
Announcement that he made, so he has been hearing, well, we couldn't say the tea leaves, but let's just put it and say that the writing has been on the wall, because even from, as I stated earlier, from the May 27th was one of the commitments that I asked them about what would he do over in the African American community. So there it was. So there was a lot of conversation yesterday about what would he do over in the African American community. And also, I know that the Chronicle, I read the article. In fact, I was talking with one of the photographers on Sunday at the Kingdom Building Center. And there was, I think, some wording in there like hostility was at the place. I thought it was very cordial. You know, we had the one speaker who came up. That was the Candace Weber. And in my opinion, I think that she approached the microphone in an angry, condescending, confrontational approach, which I didn't think that was necessary. Rico very calmly, kind of quiet the audience down, and just asked and listened to what she had to say. But besides that, and that made the news. And Paris, in this particular age that we're in now, and a lot of our listeners, they are aware of it. Also, there are so many platforms. There are people who have so many followers over on Facebook. Those who have a podcast. So everyone in these days in this multi-telecommunications era, media that we're in now, can have a platform. And that's what I saw, a person who has a Facebook platform who went out to get some attention, and she got more attention than I think that she even thought. She ended up with her name and her message over in the Houston Chronicle. And, we were talking about it and talking about it over today. So that was a win-win situation over for her.
Yeah, and in an ironic sort of way, it's also a platform for Tallarico to have people discussing his platform. I mean, to his own campaign platform as well, because now the message gets out about this engagement. This $25 million is nothing to sneeze at, and then the conversation that arose in that meeting about where do you stand on these issues, and how much do you know about our community, and what happened? How do you handle pressure? So all in all, we can all draw something from this. We've got a lot. We've got a lot of callers who are paying attention and are listening to this, and that's a welcome to change from the status quo, because we've got new people that we're talking about now, and he's pledged to spend $25 million to mobilize black voters on behalf of his campaign. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's as he said before, you have to go into the fundraising efforts, and it's a coordination that he was talking about also between state and county levels also. So there's going to be money coming over into Texas, because this is a very important race over on the Senate race. And I also heard callers also talking about why vote for this particular person or whatsoever. So. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, we here in Texas, one of the reddest states over in the South, we see the policies, and from what happens coming from Austin, how Republicans control the Texas legislature, how they push bills totally down our throat, basically because we don't have the numbers. Some was because of the 2010 gerrymandering that they have done, and others because of the lack of voter turnout in important races as state and county races, school board races, where we seem not to turn out and make our voices heard, because then again, we don't, as I state all the time, understand that power of the vote, and not for the excuses that they're going to do anything from what they want to do anyway. But that's one of your, I think that one of the key questioners at the Kingdom Builders over on Sunday was one of your callers, Brother Babaloa. He was there.
Okay.
He really asked and talked to Tallarico about seeing him on a Zoom call
and from what he said that he liked what he heard. Then he questioned him on his commitment to the, I think he used the term, the radical African American voters to that extent. So, and he addressed himself and let him know that he's a precinct chair also, and it was very good dialogue over between those two. So hopefully he'll call in and today or next week and give his take over on what he got from the town hall meeting.
All right, yeah, Ron, Brother Babalolo, he is out there. He is out there, and he and his wife are very active, and they do more than talk. They do more than talk, and so they are active. We do have some active listeners between what we do here and your show on Saturday and on Fridays, and our conversation with Lydia or Sherman throughout the weekend. Now we've got a new show, Political Talk. People are going to have the Political Talk with Friends by Stevens Orozco. People are going to have plenty of opportunity to get into these discussions. And what I want to do is see and hear more conversation about policy, about issues. I think some of the more philosophical and ideological questions they are always on the table. But some things we know. As you were talking then, we are aware of generational differences. We are aware of even class issues to an extent in our community. But what we have to talk about here, I think, is going to be about the policy. Who's making policy, and who does policy favor, and who does it harm, right?
Most definitely. And in order for even with that policy, as you know, as we hear specifically Democratic candidates doing campaigns, specifically the latest from the midterm, you can say this is this. I will fight Trump over on immigration. I will fight him over on the Voting Rights Act. And you can draw up your particular piece of legislation, but then again it comes back out to can it get from out of the committee? Can it get on the floor?
You're one of 430. Your candidate is one of 435. So you're nominated. Look, can you take? I don't want to impose upon you. I thank you for bringing us this information. Got a caller or two on you might want to speak with. You got
okay,
time?
I'll take the call.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to take this call. Hello, caller. You're on. Hello.
Ron Texas.
Yeah, how you doing?
What's going on?
Hey man. X-Man.
Hey, Ron. You took everything what I was going to call and talk about, and I'm glad, so I don't have to say all that and stuff, and you exactly said the same thing that I was going to say, because yesterday I went to...
I saw you. You were there.
What is it?
Your Bluetooth is breaking up. But your Bluetooth is breaking up.
Are you talking about at Windsor or at Lynchburg?
Windsor.
See, yesterday I went to the meeting with the...
X, what's happening, I guess, is you may be moving around, but it's breaking up. You're coming in and out. So, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I was at the, I went to the meeting with the Black pastors at Lily Grove.
Okay.
Yesterday. And that was a productive meeting with the pastors. I was kind of disappointed because the room was set for 200 pastors, and I think only black pastors. I think only 50 came. I really really think it should have been more than 50 that showed up, but it still was enough and everything. And I was able to talk to him, and I was even able to ask a question, and a lot of people don't know about the bill that he went into, that he introduced and got passed, which was the Javier Ambler law. And most of the people there didn't know anything about it, so I told him to explain to everybody about that bill, which was about black guys and Tony. I mean, I said to him, but he stopped him and
you're breaking up again.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll try to call back, I guess, because I don't know why my phone is acting silly today.
Yeah, but I know how that happens.
Yeah, but I'll probably call at Micah if I get a better spot, Paris. But Ron, hey man, keep up the good work, my brother, and everything. And with that Candace person, like you said, she was very condescending and everything, and I researched and looked on her page and everything, and it's more or less, one of these people that want 15 minutes of fame and want to be heard, but she's spewing out nonsense about, black people should sit it out and all this, just nonsense, So black folks use your heads on this stuff and cut out all the pettiness.
Well, look, she's got a right to speak out. Now she may, I don't know her, but I am gonna say this is what we have to have. There are going to be people some of them on both sides of the fence on this X. However, I don't want to, look, she is still a private citizen. She's got a right to vote. She's got a right to vote, and no doubt she probably upset some people. I can tell that she upset some people. But he's going to have to stand up to that too. He's going to. This is about testing a candidate when you go out there. When you go out there, people who are angry don't have to present their grievances in just the way you might want to hear them, and that's what Tallarico was telling the audience. That was she may not have intended it to be, but that was an ample opportunity for Tallarico to show who he was, and I doubt that she is. That was the way she wanted to present herself. What do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Well, I tell you what, it turned out good for Tallarico because the woman's everything was even here at the national XM radio and stuff.
Okay.
And most of the black commentators there, at first it was kind of on Tallarico, but after he, respond, from a person who put him in the fire, and they was very impressed on how
that's what I'm saying.
Words and how he calmed the audience.
Yeah.
And the thing is, so more or less, it was a win for him because it showed everybody that he's calm under fire.
Yeah.
You want a candidate like that because you got a whole lot of candidates probably would say something smart, got to shot the match this woman, I thought they had to get the woman told and stuff like that, but you calm down the crowd and answer the question and Ron can tell you he was there.
Yeah. So and he will, and because I read about it, and then I heard from a couple of other people who were there, and as I said, the agreement was, she put him she put him in a situation, and he came back and responded to it. And it seemed, was it your impression that the room was with him?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Sure.
You had some people.
So
you had some people that was up.
Yeah.
You had some people that was upset with her, but the thing is, the room was with him, and they was waiting for how he responded. He responded well.
Yeah.
But parents before, because I know somebody want to talk, but but let me finish the conversation that I had with him when he answered because I told him about that. But I have a son that's in Georgia, and I'm afraid of the police. Might do something to my son, and every black man in there who has a son is afraid. And so I asked them, that's our biggest concern as black parents. We were about our sons getting killed by the police, and I had, to be honest, I forgot about this bill, and out of his mouth he told me that, sadly the George Floyd bill is still sitting up in Washington, and he said he's praying that Congress has the numbers, and he'll be the first one to vote yes on it.
Ah, yeah. See, that's worth knowing. And so I thank you for that. We thank you for that, man, and thank you for coming back here to make us aware of it. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right, Paris.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, my brother. All right, Ron.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was another person who was at another function, but no, he said he was at the same one, right? He had to be here today.
No, well, he went to a minister's meeting. He spoke about a minister's meeting over on yesterday.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, it's a lot of Texas is one of the largest states in the United States, 254 counties. So candidates that are running statewide, they really have to get around. And another thing, from a party perspective, from a Democrat, Republican standpoint of view, it's far by time that Democrats are able to break through and win a state election. It's been over 30 years since the last time that a Democrat has held a state office. So, it's almost like that glass ceiling, and this is an opportunity. Beto has come close this past decade, running against Cruz by 2 to 3 percentage points. This one is almost set up. It's set up right with as Tallarico calls Ken Paxton, the most corrupt politician in the country. And so here, this is the two senators in this race coming out of the state of Texas, and these are our choices from them. So I think it's an opportunity to crack that ceiling, to start back to get control again of, these particular Republican elected officials, specifically from the Texas legislature, is the ones who set policy. And that's what we have to do, get back over so we can get control of these state houses. Just like right now, we already know Trump is calling, and just like he went over into Georgia to go get the voting rolls because they want to purge people from off of the voter rolls, which I still urge you to go in and look over there at your children. For those who have not voted in a 4-year period, who may think that they're registered to vote, there's a purge effect. And sometimes they may send you a letter over there to your residence to say, is this correct or whatsoever. Other times they don't, and you'll go to the polling place on election day and they say, well, you're not there. You're not registered. You've been heard. So check your status at harrisvotes.com. Go to registration. If you're in Fort Bend County, FortBenElections.com, and check your status.
I'm glad you reinforced that, because this is where the contest will be won or lost, by the number of people who mark the ballot. This is what voting is all about. This is what this is going to be about. And as we go to these things, we hopefully more will go hear their remarks on the social issues and all of the other issues that are there today. I tell you, the board is lit here. You got time for another one, or what? How are you doing?
Sure.
Are you doing for time?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, good. Hello, caller. You're on with Ron Jackson.
I'm honored to be on with Mr. Ron Jackson. It is a privilege, Paris. Good morning, Ron Jackson.
Good morning, and I'm sure you're going to tell me some information about your guy.
No. My guy Ken Stockton. But look, I got a homework assignment. You and correct me. No, I won't put it on you. There's a Friday host who seems to think that if black turnout comes through, Puerto will win. Give me a percentage on when I call you Saturday. Say if 85% of black turnout comes through, Puerto will win. Disregarding everything, the 30-year history, the brown vote, the fact that this is a red racist thing, that person seems to think everything derives around if black turnout comes through, there is no question they will win. So when I call you Saturday, give me a percentage, and then we shall see. There's more than just that one thing. This lady doesn't get it, but there's a whole lot of.
Well, I wouldn't say she doesn't get it. Whoa.
Okay.
She's
in my opinion.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for correcting. And I qualified that. But no, as you're a strategist, there's a lot more to it than just one specific thing. And I'm glad you qualified everything, Ron. 30-year history, and you quoted, and to quote you, there's an opportunity, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I'll talk to you Saturday, Ron.
All right.
And now from what she's saying, a good 85% of the African American turnout, but you got to realize that he has other Democrats and independents. Tallarico is even pulling in Republicans, so that's a whole pie.
Yes, that's what I thought was missing from the argument. Yeah, that's what I thought was. She wasn't. It is.
Solely talking about.
Yeah, she's not solely. It's
talking about a part of the pie.
Yeah.
Part of the pie that equals the whole. And that's how it's won statewide.
Yeah. Because I didn't get the idea that she was talking about just if black folks turn out and we get this, then that's it. She's aware from what and she'll address it on Saturday anyway. So let me go to the other callers, right? Okay, not belabor the point. Hello, caller, you're on.
Hello. How are you this morning?
Oh, look at you. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Call again on another line.
So am I. Am I on there?
You're on there. You are.
Okay. So I wanted to calmly say, I'm listening as I'm running errands today. Names being, thrown out and being misquoted, and a lot of other things going on. But yes, I believe that if 85% of African Americans come out to vote, along with, of course, the other members of our community, that Tallarico has a great chance of winning in November. So I'm not exactly sure, what that's about, or what's not understood, or what I should understand that I don't understand. And so I don't know. Is Ron still on? And maybe we can, kind of chat about this.
Ron is on.
Okay. Maybe we can chat about this. So I don't know. Is this a man thing, Ron, or what's going on here?
No, I just made the statement and concur over with what you just said. So this is a statewide Republicans, Independents, African Americans, those to
to the left, those to the right. It's a pie perspective in order to win. It's not one particular piece that will determine an election. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. And the take, Paris, I really appreciated you saying, not that I agree. Well, I won't say I disagree, but I believe that everybody has the right for their voice to be heard. Some of us, like you were making the point earlier, some of us might not agree with Candace Weber's approach. Some of us out there may have had the same approach. But like you mentioned, Paris, I believe it's going to serve him well to know that those voices, and I've seen other town halls and other communities that are just as raucous, and I'm using my quote fingers, as others. And so I don't think that, that's great that it's going viral for Tallarico, and that he took the position and addressed her in that way. And I just think that he needs to keep on talking and keep on answering questions. And at some point, those questions or the responses that he's given are going to need to be addressed. I appreciate that he's doing that. That he's taken the heat, that he's taken the fire so far, and that he will continue to do it. And that that money that he has, and he says in the community, and I'm thinking that's black media doing spots and among other things, that $25 million, and I think that will go a long way as well. So, Jolanda Jones, by the way, is they're having at the Third Ward Multi-Purpose Center. All roads lead through. I think, what is it? All roads lead through the black community or
African American vote.
Yes, lead through the black community. So that's going on.
Well, I see we got. Well, at least I see we got one brother and one sister regular church attendees. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Okay. All roads. Remember, 3:00. All roads lead to so and so Baptist Church. Cause that's the key.
It's actually, Paris, called the Road to Blue Goes Through Black. That's the name of what they're doing. The Road to Blue Goes Through Black, which ties to what we were just discussing. Yeah. And it's Jolanda Jones, Constable Smokey Phillips, and the Houston Black American Democrats. They're hosting this listening session, and it's going to be again at the Third Ward Multi-Service Center from 6 to 9 p.m. tonight. So I wanted to throw that out there, but thank you for fitting me in. And Ron, I'll call in on Saturdays. I listen to you all the time. Great shows.
Thank you very much. Listen to you also.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. All right, Perry.
All right. Thank you, Lydia. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're here with Ron, and I call. We got one more. Can we do one more, Ron? Can we do that? Okay. Hello, caller. You're on. Hello, caller. You're on.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Perry?
Yo, what's up with you, Cubs? What's going on? All right.
Not too much. I'm on there.
Ron? Yeah.
Mr. Jackson is there?
Yes, he's here. He's on with you.
Okay. Right, I had a question for you, Mr. Jackson, that came up. I say about a month or two ago, and the question was posed to me about the need for the civil rights bill, voting rights bill, right? And it was in response to me making the statement, what is the value of the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill? Somebody's been going on for, I don't know, maybe a decade, right? I'm trying to understand why all the attention to that bill, as well as the John Lewis police reform bill, isn't these basically duplications of existing laws already?
Well, I wouldn't say that is duplicating, but we have so many issues on so many fronts, and as the old adage goes, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Yeah, but to address the idea of resource limitation, though, that you only have so much resource, wouldn't you agree that in that, accepting that idea, wouldn't it be better to focus on something else with the resource?
Well, there are many fronts to this. You bring up that issue, that particular bill, and you brought up the John Lewis bill. I mean, it's a multitude of bills written from that perspective to increase the value of life, and specifically these bills are targeting African Americans. So to me, the more the merrier. The anyone. I mean, even with the bill of the United Nations with the African nations, especially the president from Ghana, bringing the vote to the United Nations that got an agreement that the chattel slavery, the transatlantic slave movement, was one of the most atrocious events to happen in history, and to get that vote. So that's something totally different, and I agree with that. So it's so many particular type of issues that we have. I mean, so I'm glad that any time that anyone addressed those issues, I don't think that it's a matter of resources. It's just a matter of energy and where we put it. So, just as we just seen from the funeral of Nolan Wells on yesterday, that a lot of black energy went into Mississippi for that, because there's so many things that we deal with on a daily and continuous issue. That's all the way back from, as you stated, from John Lewis, all the way going back to Emmett Till in the 50s to 2026 today.
Yeah, but I'm talking about from the job description of an elected official, okay, and how they spend their time trying to improve outcomes for the people elected to. Are you saying that people should chase these dogs down the road like a dog chasing a car endlessly, and not try to focus on something more tangible?
I mean, if they have a dog issue in their neighborhoods, that's what their concerns are. Even if you're coming down to a local standpoint, I mean, if you got if trash is an issue where people just coming trashing over into dumping trash into your community, that's if the people are fed up with that, that's the thing over from what they want their elected official to solve. So it's different issues in different communities, and just as these particular bills that you're talking about are areas of legislation that's targeting, that's not just one that's just not the whole consensus of the elected members are doing that. That came out of from one member, and it just went before the House and was passed over out of the House in the bill-making process. But not everyone is basically targeted there, because everyone has different concerns for the different regions that's from what they come from out of. Every community has different.
You don't hear this conversation, Mr. Jackson, that people say that the policing situation would improve if people would just pass John Lewis Police Reform Act. You don't hear this conversation?
Yeah, I hear it. Yeah. And what are you saying about it? Has it passed?
I said it's a duplication of laws on the book.
Has any of them passed that you're speaking of?
I'm saying is that
the answer is no. The answer is no.
Well, what I'm saying, but that doesn't take people. That doesn't say that people aren't still in their imagination trying to say that if this some kind of way does happen,
then all these issues that we think are going on will some kind of way be resolved.
But you're talking hypothetical. If, when, whatsoever. I mean, the bills are put out there to come to have a conclusion to this is to the end of this is what we feel should be happened. So this one is written this way, another bill is written that way, and let's say all of them are going over to solve a problem. That's factual for it going down. You're telling me if this one doesn't go this way, if these are hypothetical.
No. I'm asking you what problem. Let me just be more specific then. Use your word. What problem will the John Lewis Police Reform Act solve?
It will put the law over on the books.
On the federal side.
When there is a violation, when there is a violation to that law, a person could be prosecuted because of it.
At the federal level, it's important to say that as well. All right. It's not. It's like we have duplicate laws. Sometimes states handle some things. Sometimes another thing becomes a federal crime. Like what is it? Capital punishment. You know, some states have capital punishment crimes, but some crimes, some capital punishment is decided by the federal government. They have certain laws that are prosecuted at the federal level, while they exist at the state level. So, you know.
Yeah, well, okay, I'll conclude. Okay, it seems like that these bills offer some kind of enhanced punishment. Okay, and I just don't see
what's your problem with the bills?
The problem is I said that people only have a certain amount of resource, time and energy and so forth. You seem to think it's endless. I don't accept that idea. I say it's not an endless resource that people have, so they should focus on things that maybe get a better return, a more quicker return than this endless chase.
Well, you got different organizations, and what their mission is.
I'm talking to you, though, Mr. Jackson. I'm not talking about an organization.
It's not about me. I'm not pushing any one of those particular bills. I agree with them, but those particular what you're talking about, that's done from a legislative standpoint of view. That has to come from out of the Congress.
Okay, we are going to have to finish. We are going to have to finish this on Saturday on Ron's show. I got another caller right now. Thank you, Coffee, for talking about the endless resources. One of the things we have that's not endless here is time. It's going to be time for Michael in 12 minutes. Hello, caller. You're with Ron Jackson. Final call. You're the final call for Ron.
Good morning, Paris. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning.
I want to straighten something out with Big Jeff. That wasn't me the other day. I'm like Tyrone Davis. Sure wasn't me.
Sure wasn't me.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this, and I've heard commentary about what took place at the meeting on Sunday with Representative Tallarico and the young lady who showed up at the meeting. I'm an HOA president, so when we book a room for about 2 hours. Okay. Oftentimes, my constituency shows up late. Want to come in, ask questions. They done missed most of what got said because they answered probably what it got answered earlier, right? And so what tends to happen is this. So I've been to a lot of these political meetings like Tellerica, even when Menifee was running, Jasmine Crockett came to town over at the church off of West Fuquay and Fondren. You know, there's only going to be about 6 questions that get answered in these meetings, right? On cue cards, and they're going to be filtered, right? And so the young lady, I think she did a service to the community when she did what she did, because oftentimes these politicians come do what's called a drive-by with the community. They're not there for an extended period of time, and I don't think she was being disrespectful, because he's asking for a vote for the U.S. Senate for the state of Texas. And this is a prime opportunity for us to have an input in that opportunity. And so what she did was tell him, look, y'all finna cut this off. We need some more of your time. And I think I've heard people say he acquiesced to that and gave her more time. Say, okay, well, step in the back, step in another area. This way, this room expired, but we get a chance to answer your questions. And so too often we need to have these forums where these politicians are not coming through doing a drive-by. What do you think about that, Ron?
Well, this wasn't a drive-by. And her question was answered in front of the whole gathering. That was a little later when someone else had when the time period was up at the 4:30 time period to move into the other area. From my observation and whatsoever like that, as I was stated over there before, we in this multi-telecommunications era, and people look for different ways, basically, to get their brand out there. So more or less, I thought it, because of some things that I've seen over in the past with comments on this young lady's page from other elected officials. And like I stated before, I think that she got what she wanted out of it. We know her name.
So you think it's a branding issue, but what about these politicians? And I like to say what Travis McGee said: our elected employees. Very often they don't give forums. Now, one politician in particular, I got to give a shout out to my council person, Martha Cassidy Tatum. She had monthly meetings, but often there's not a lot of town hall meetings with your constituency. And talking to your constituency about issues that they have concerns about. And I understand this was a campaign event, but to me, we need to put on a forum and invite the politicians to an event, is what I'm saying. And have
I understand over with your concern over with that, but this was not what it says. This was a town hall for a statewide candidate with 254 counties that a person has to address. So I don't think it was a drive-by. I think it was as the candidate has made the commitment over there to the African American community, because they understand what has to take place in order for them to be victorious. And a 2 hour, it was timely. It was a timely period.
Okay. Well, and my last commentary on it, was it a campaign event, or was it an invitation on behalf of an organization?
Of course, it was a campaign event. Okay. It was a town hall. Okay. He's presenting himself over to the community. This won't be his last time, I'm sure, him coming, and he'll be more probably on the north side of town, or it could be on the east side of town, the west side of town, because Harris County is the largest county in the state of Texas, and is going to produce some of the most votes that he will get coming from out of the state of Texas, besides the Dallas, the Tarrant counties, and moving over into San Antonio. So this is prime territory right here. So yeah, he will be back. And so this is a campaign. This is a campaign he did. He can't now. Once you get into office, then it turns into another thing. Like you're talking about your councilwoman out of District K. She's governing then. So she's talking about those issues. But before you can govern, you got to get elected. And we're in the campaign.
Yeah, and I understand that, but oftentimes, like organizations like unions and stuff, they'll bring them in and talk to them. What I'm saying is we need to put a black think tank or something together where we can bring the politicians in and talk to them on an extended period, is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
But I thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
All right. Rod, I want to thank you for bringing attention to the conversation this morning to Tallarico, to candidate Tallarico. And obviously it was a spirited session. That's good. I think I'd rather be discussed than ignored. So if I got an event going on, I want people to talk about it. For whatever thing comes out of it, that helps my cause. So that is a good thing. That is a good thing as well. And
it's just a great thing. And then, we're about 104 days out. I mean, these things have to get clear, and we have to have a clear focus and direction over on where we're going, and understand all the pitfalls that we're just talking right now. But as I was talking about before, those particular checklists, the harrisvotes.com to check your voter registration, FortBendelections.com, check your registration, because these are going to be things that we need to take care of right now. I mean, that we're going to have to do, so you don't go in and we get stumbled and we be reacting instead of us taking care of these issues prior to them, because we know there is going to be some things from a national level coming down all the way to local, from even intimidation factors, I would assume, in some polling places around heavily Hispanic areas, the presence of ICE, intimidation factors, and all of the above, A through E.
Absolutely correct. And as far as the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act, started a long time ago. It's version of the bill. This stuff goes back to you cited some of its history, but actually, it started back in 1882. The Southern Democrats were voting against it. Different Democratic voting block at that time, different Democratic Party then, and so they kept coming back to the well, and then finally, I think this about it. I think that some things you do, and I'm going to start from the John Lewis presidency. Sometimes the government wants to make a statement about something. A group of legislators want to make a statement about a thing, and sometimes there are a lot of them who do it, and then other times only a few of them can deny the will of those people who do want a thing. I say that because we may recall that there was conversation in 2020 about getting the anti-lynching bill, and it passed the House of Representatives by 410 to 4 vote. And when it got to the Senate, Rand Paul held the bill up from passage, and then they had to go back, and then Steny Hoyer had the bill come around again, and then Senator Harris got involved, and it went down in flames. That time. So.
And similar with the John Lewis bill.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. It came back around as the John Lewis bill. 2022, wasn't it? Did it come back? Yeah. So.
And this time it was they needed the filibuster. In order to pass it. And, the representative out of West Virginia and the Democratic representative out of Colorado, they refused to break that bill.
Was this Manchin?
Manchin, West Virginia.
West Virginia, So, and some of it is doubling the effort, right? But there are certain things that the politicians get together and say, this is the way we want to be known as a country, and they put it up to vote. Let's codify it, put it into our code, so that it's not just a presumption. It's something positive, something you can point to in law, and so that that's valid.
It comes around in so many ways. A lot of times let's say it's a national crisis that can push a bill over.
Yeah, James Byrd Act, the James Byrd Act. I mean, George Floyd. Yeah.
Those particular type of horrendous crimes against the person that reflects an attitude toward the community.
Yeah.
A lot of times when it's so atrocious like that, one has to, as a legislator, who creates the law, has to come on because of public sentiment is so strong on the behalf of this happening that it gets the numbers and it passes. But we're in different times over right now, and the time for us to prepare and to be proactive in our voting strategy. So it's going to take strategy now, as well as what we were talking about earlier, mobilizing our efforts in order to be successful.
Yeah, finally, I'm going to say this. I did read where I'm doing some fact checking here. Bipartisan bill co-sponsored. The question was, did the anti-lynching bill ever pass? A bipartisan bill co-sponsored by U.S. Senator Susan Collins of Maine was signed into law. The legislation, which passed both chambers of Congress with overwhelming support, makes lynching a federal hate crime.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Yeah. So there is. So I don't hear any talk about the Anti-Lynching Act now. So I guess it's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Biden signed it into law on March 22nd. So it's a moot point. Whatever we say about it now. It's done. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, man. Ron, your closing thoughts.
Enjoyed the conversation with the morning magazine's audience. It's invigorating. I hope we continue, as I stated, we're about 4 days out from the midterm elections. There's a lot over on the line because we're in a different place over with this country, with a different type of leadership in a divided country, which this breaks down and comes all the way down from the top all the way to the bottom, as stated by us being in the red state of Texas. I think we have an opportunity to break that stronghold, crack that ceiling, elect a Democratic statewide elected official, and begin to come back to control the state so that we can change the policies of this state.
All right, we are the source. I want to thank you so much. Michael Lawrence Harris is up next, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right here with you. Thank you, Ron. Sure appreciate it. We are the source this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this afternoon now, of course. It's this afternoon, and I'm Paris.
This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer. Listen to my show every Monday from 11 to 12 on KWWJ 1360 AM, KYOK 1140 AM, KCOH at 1230 KCOH.com, Sankeet Radio at 95.1 FM 1460 AM, and Latino Sports KEYH 850 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.
A Tip from Gilbert, Mondays 11 a.m. on 1230 KCOH, The Source.
Everybody's talking about the high price of eggs. No, I don't know much about eggs, but I tell you this. If you want great chicken at a great price, how about Chicken Plus, 6210 North Wayside? Let's see what his customers are saying. Michelle writes, Chicken Plus has some of the best fried chicken and best fried okra in the city. We stay about 45 minutes away, so that drive is definitely worth it. E-Max says, the chicken is seasoned so well and every bite has a special punch. It's my go-to chicken spot when I want homemade fried chicken that's always good. Now, that's what I'm talking about right there. Great fried chicken, okra, rice and gravy, desserts. You're gonna find it all at Chicken Plus, 6210 North Wayside. You don't have time to make the drive? Hey, no problem. You can order Chicken Plus on DoorDash and Uber Eats. You better do what you gotta do to get your hands on some of that great fried chicken, the best fried chicken in the city. Great chicken at great prices. That's Chicken Plus. See you there. Hi, I'm JJ Walls with Sunnyside Dental, and yes, it's now been over 30 years that we've been providing quality dental care for our patients in the Houston area. It's now come to my attention that many of you that want to come to Sunnyside Dental have Medicare plans that we don't accept. Hold up, that has got to change. Sunnyside Dental is now accepting most Medicare dental plans. WellCare, Liberty, United Healthcare, Cigna, Kelsey Care Advantage, Amerigroup, Aetna, and many more. We're getting on board. Call Sunnyside Dental at 713-738-1999. If you have Medicare and would like to receive a personal touch provided by Sunnyside Dental, call us at 713-738-1999. We look forward to helping you achieve the smile that you can't wait to share with the world.
Got Medicare dental benefits? Call Sunnyside Dental, 713-738-1999.
Everybody's talking about the high price of eggs. No, I don't know much about eggs, but I tell you this. If you want great chicken at a great price, how about Chicken Plus, 6210 North Wayside? Let's see what his customers are saying. Michelle writes, Chicken Plus has some of the best fried chicken and best fried okra in the city. We stay about 45 minutes away, so that drive is definitely worth it. E-Max says, the chicken is seasoned so well and every bite has a special punch. It's my go-to chicken spot when I want homemade fried chicken that's always good. That's what I'm talking about right there. Great fried chicken, okra, rice and gravy, desserts. You're gonna find it all at Chicken Plus, 6210 North Wayside. You don't have time to make the drive? Hey, no problem. You can order Chicken Plus on DoorDash and Uber Eats. You better do what you gotta do to get your hands on some of that great fried chicken, the best fried chicken in the city. Great chicken at great prices. That's Chicken Plus. See you there.
And now, a message from the future frequency.
Young voters, Gen Z and millennials, our world is moving fast, and the issues hitting your pockets and your peace, they're all on the ballot. Rent, safety, jobs, student debt, and yes, home ownership. Whether you're aiming for your first keys or keeping your roof steady, voting is where those issues get decided. So click off the mute button and let your voice be heard. Tap in, lock in, and make a plan to vote. The future is live right now, and you're the frequency.
This message is powered by the City of Thought and proudly sponsored by 1230 KCOH, The Source.
And we are The Source. Good morning. Good afternoon to you. Good morning, afternoon, good AM, PM. Good morning. I want to thank you for a lively conversation with Ron Jackson and Lydia Flanagan. We hit the jackpot this morning. So that was a good thing. And now to make it a trifecta, I've got the top jock. I've got the Hall of Famer on the phone with you this morning, the husband of the lovely and talented Yvonne Harris, and the father of the very delightful and scintillating Alessandra Harris, Mr. Michael Harris. Michael Harris, come on, bro.
Oh man, you forgot my grand dogs, Tidbit and Polo.
Now I forgot the grand dogs. Is there, at long last, is there no justice in this world? I'm telling you.
Since I don't have any grandchildren and may not have any, believe it or not, I have never been that big on children.
Yeah.
They are a responsibility that never goes away. But I do have my granddogs, and since they can't talk, all they can do is look at me. I can ignore them a lot. But I do love Tidbit and Polo, as well as Alessandra, Yvonne, you, and all the crew, and almost everybody out there. Now I know that I should love everyone. I should love my neighbor as myself.
unfortunately, I have some bad neighbors. And we have, we have bad people. I've done my best to try to love Donald Trump. I just can't do it, man. I have trouble loving people who seem to hate me or to hate what I look like, and who seem to think that because I don't look like them, I don't deserve the same treatment, equitable treatment to what they, what people like them look like. It's truly amazing that after all these years that we've been here on the earth plane, that we are still dividing up people based on their color, their ethnicity, their language, and not seeing all human beings as human beings. And we single out those people that we want to, belittle, etc., etc., etc. He can hang with the Jeffrey Epstein, and he's okay, although there's that testimony about him, having relations with underage children, etc. But you let me be accused of one thing, and I'm gone. But this is the society in which we live, and I'm wondering why American soldiers are dying over it in, I don't know, is that the Middle East? The Persian Gulf? What is that?
They treated like the Middle East. They treated like the Middle East. Yeah, it's a part of that. But geographically, I honestly don't know. That name has changed now. It used to be. I think when I came up, I heard words like Indo-Europe, Indo-China.
Yeah, there's so many things that they don't use anymore.
Right.
But what I don't understand is why are our children, our brothers and sisters, our mothers and fathers, why are they over there fighting when I didn't know we had any oil companies over there? Is this because Trump is invested in some of the oil companies or something? What is this all about?
It is about the fact that oil can't get to the rest of the world. As a matter of fact,
we don't want oil. But they don't want us getting affordable anything. Every time I turn around, everything is going up.
But that's because of the war. But that's because of the war. It ties back to if Iran holds the strait, the thinking is you wouldn't get this anyway. And not if they had complete power over the strait. And so America has stepped in to say that they wanted to keep it open. Now, there are other countries who want that strait open too. They just never sent their troops in, at least not yet. But Iran, when Iran decided to close it, it was because Donald Trump had broken free from the Joint Compromise group, from the Joint Compromise Agreement
And so, why are Trump's sons over there? Why are his daughters over there?
Yeah.
Why do ordinary citizens who are paying that extra money for gas, he ain't paying for jack.
Well, that is true.
And neither are his children. They are benefiting from his presidency. And unfortunately for many of us, so many politicians are.
Mm-hmm.
And they have nothing to lose. Their children aren't the ones being sacrificed.
Yeah. From a foreign policy perspective of America's foreign policy perspective, Donald Trump felt that the the JCPOA I was just telling you about. What did I say it was? Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. And that was finally, after 40-some years at the time, or 39, whatever it was, getting an agreement that could get Iran to move away from a nuclear weapon, because the thinking was that if they had one, they would surely use it. That was the thinking of of our intelligence agencies at the time, and the thinking was reported that they were close to doing it because they had enriched uranium, and high-grade uranium was a necessity for getting the nuclear weapon. So what President Obama did was to bring collaboration of nations together and say, look, we want Iran in the international community, but we cannot have them here with a nuclear weapon. And so he formed this group together. For the first time in our recent history, he was able to bring together France, China, Russia, plus Germany and the United Kingdom, and limit Iran's enrichment capabilities in exchange for lifting we had put economic sanctions on them. It was difficult for them to do any banking. It was difficult for them to move oil even, we were tying up their money. Even after they did their oil deals, they had banks that he couldn't deal with because America said, no, you do business with Iran, you don't get any more assistance from us, you're a pariah to us. So Iran was really in bad shape. They weren't just, they had oil that they had to sell only on the bootleg market. Well, you had some buyers who would buy it, like Russia. So Russia wanted those sanctions lifted as well. So they came together, and then Iran did see the advantage in signing this agreement, so they did. And Donald Trump came along. And said, no, they're cheating on the agreement. He turned it on its head and walked out. It was known as the Iran nuclear deal, really. That's what it's known as, really, the Iran nuclear deal. And in order to do that, when Donald Trump brought America out of that deal, in order to respond to that, Iran said, okay, well, we'll just enrich our uranium. We'll go back to working on the bomb because we're not going to be the only ones out here without this nuclear weapon. And who are you to tell us we can't have one? And it's ironic. What is ironic, last week, I heard Donald Trump talking about ballistic missiles, and they asked him, well, are we going to allow them to build nuclear? Well, he said, why are we giving them ballistic missiles? And Donald Trump said, well, the rest of the countries have them. It wouldn't be fair if they didn't have one. But he can't extend that thinking. He had a point, but he couldn't extend that thinking to the nuclear thing. And I'm not going to say he's wrong about that, but it'd be nice if we could just move away from the brink of nuclear war. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now the white man runs the world, right?
I'll tell you what. Here's a term you may remember. Remember MAD. Remember that was the key to the build-up in this arms race anyway between Russia and the United States. There you are, mutual assured destruction. That's why Iran is using that as its premise too. North Korea uses that, as I think about it, all right? What do they all say? They all say United States is the bully. They'll take out stuff as long as they know we can't do anything about it. And so there you have it. that creates the standoff scenario. But
so we're much like Russia.
Oh yeah. To the Iranians, we're worse than Russia. At least they do business with Russia. Russia buys oil from them. We weren't buying anything and trying to dictate the terms too. So, and Iran doesn't come to this with clean hands. It's been according to several of the international agencies and diplomats and representatives, it has wrought a lot of havoc in its own neighborhood over there. I think, I see, who was that?
Like what's happening in our neighborhoods here. Huh?
Yeah, right. So
they're taking over our schools, saying that even the schools, even though they're run by the state of Texas, I guess there was too much democracy. They had to
dial it back, huh?
Yeah, dial it back. You know, kick the Negroes out, kick the Hispanics out, or kick the blacks out. It didn't matter where you were from, and you were black. They're after you.
Yeah.
Do any Hispanics get a pass?
Not that I can see, Michael. Not that.
Well, I tell you what, I start changing my name. If my name was Gonzalez, I'd have to go to what's a good
change your name to Miguel Hariricio. Miguel Hariricio.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
A good English name, Bond. James Bond.
Well, I see your callers are showing up. Maybe it was the nuclear talk. All this nuclear talk must be getting them rattled here.
Well, don't forget, aren't we the only country that has dropped a nuclear bomb?
Yes. First ones to do so.
And Nagasaki and killed all those non-military people.
Yeah.
And now we want to tell other people that can happen. Didn't we just invade Argentina and take away their leader?
Gave him a ride. Gave him a ride, a cruise, a yacht. Took him on a yacht cruise.
and now he's locked up somewhere where nobody knows. Haven't heard about him lately.
Well,
you think he's still alive?
Well, yeah, I do, because they've got use for him. The conversations are that they are expecting him to come forward and make claims. Look for his name during this election season to come forward and make claims against President Biden. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Look for him.
What I'd love to see is our president. He has a couple of sons, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He got 3, as a matter of fact.
Have any of them served in the military?
Oh no.
Oh, but he can send our children off to die.
Yeah.
While they rake in millions and billions of dollars off the Trump name.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It really doesn't.
No.
That you can start a war and get other people's children killed while you protect yours and while you enrich yourself.
Yeah.
Because most of us are not in the oil and gas industry, and we're not making millions and billions of dollars. So this stuff is really impacting us.
Yeah.
And the more planes that go down, that's the more money that the aerospace industry makes. But how many of us are in the industry? And then he's fired so many of our black and brown citizens who work for the United States government. Really, what's in it for us? All we're doing is, I guess, helping the people who want to keep everybody else beneath them, rather than liberty and justice for all. And I'm not, anti-American. I'm just anti where this particular party is leading us right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be pariahs if we don't watch out, because we're turning on everybody. Everything's about enriching the rich and nothing for the poor and the disadvantaged. We're the sacrificial lambs.
Yeah.
And I know you served in the military, And
Yeah.
did you volunteer?
Oh no. as a matter of fact, back then the categories were U.S. and regular Army. RA was a regular Army. You'd volunteer. These were guys who'd come in and, they, for whatever reason, sometimes it was guys who came from economic, from economically deprived, right, economically deprived backgrounds, and some of them actually went to the war. Here's the truly objectionable part, where some of them went to the war to burnish their credentials, because when they came out, they were going to take over the family business, and the family business happened to be politics. So it was a part of some families' plans if they were connected, they wanted that on their children's resume. Now, this was during the time, I think Clinton was the first president I think we had without any military experience. I could be wrong on that, but most of them had at least some reservist experience.
Nixon was a reservist, because I know he wasn't a.
No, Nixon. Well, you might be right. Nixon's not one. He didn't have military service. I don't think. I'm not sure.
And nobody talked about LBJ's military service if he hadn't.
Yeah.
He was.
You're right. In fact, it's probably just the opposite. More people didn't have military service, but it was a plus on your resume. It was a big plus on your resume. Yeah. Okay. So Nixon was in the South Pacific Air Transport Command, and he was he was the United States Naval Reserve. He had the United States Naval Reserve. John Kennedy was, he served with distinction. So.
Anyway, I know callers are waiting. I'm just every morning when I wake up and I look at the news and I just say, what the hell is going on?
Okay, look, Lyndon Johnson served briefly on active duty in the United States Naval Reserve during World War II. He was commissioned as a lieutenant commander in 1940. He volunteered for active duty 3 days after Pearl Harbor, so he was honorably discharged in July 1942.
Lieutenant commander came in as a lieutenant commander. My God.
He had to hook up, and remember, this is the reserve.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have not served. My brother did, and his service cost him his life. He did not die in the service, but injuries that he suffered during the conflict eventually killed his brain. And I don't know what it was. It probably was some poison or something that they were putting out. But they used all kinds of things in that Vietnam era. But anyway, it's 27 minutes past the hour. I know other people want to talk. They say, they talk every day. They're talking to each other.
All right, let's get it in. Let's put it in. All right. Hello, caller. You're on with Michael Lawrence.
Hello.
Hello.
I want to thank you, gentlemen, for taking my call. And again, I want people to know I did not know you personally. I just know from listening. And I want to just say I really want to say something make a PSA announcement. I really think we got enough people, millionaires. I'm poor. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a business owner. They should be pouring into this station. And I mean financially and buying time and slots, and you know what I'm saying? So I just want to put that out.
Thank you.
Okay, so So I want to say this right quick because I heard these guys was talking about it and I couldn't get in. I want to talk about the special needs man. This young boy, he's 20, the girl was 13, and I'm reading something from the teacher. He's special needs or special ed or whatever you call it. So the teacher name is Robin Perkins, and she's making a comment here. She said, I was his special teacher at Lester. He was so special to me. He tried so hard in school. I loved all my students, but Rod was my baby. I wish people knew him instead of calling him horrible names. We had a talk before he left to go to high school about girls. I told him to be careful because he would be so much, I don't know what she was saying, so much something. I am so heartbroken. He was a sweet and respectful young man. Okay, so this lady, her case is not like the woman at Walmart in Florida. She's going to get some time because from what I'm hearing, she shot him in the head or the back of the head, and the little boy was hiding under her daughter's bed. And Mr. Michael, you remember this story you told us years ago. Remember the story you told us about your neighbor who had a little fast girl that had men coming in and out the house, and the neighbors asked you to go over there and talk to that woman, remember? And how she cussed you out, and then a few months later she came to you and apologized. That's the same thing going on with this story right here. I see it. Okay. And the last three stories I want to say right quick. Nolan Wells, condolence. Daniel Irvin, condolence. The young black man in Michigan that got lynched in the trees at the Electric Forest Rave Festival, condolence. All three young black men, I hate to say it, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. I really think Nolan Wells did drown. The black guy, Daniel Irvin, they're going to probably charge the little white guy for tampering with evidence. But he jumped off a bridge. I just finally read the story. He jumped off the bridge. They didn't put a gun to him. They didn't make him jump off the bridge. He did that himself. And so that's all I wanted to say. I want to thank you for taking my... Huh?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
What makes you believe he jumped off himself?
That's a good question. What makes me believe
that he did?
Golly, hate to say it. I guess I'm guilty. I'm reading like everybody else what the news said. You know, these kids, these boys, they play with each other like that. They shuck and jive and double dare and whatnot. No telling what happened unless there was unless you can break one of the two white boys to tell exactly, but we will never know.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't have to force somebody. You can prime them, I guess you could say, to do something stupid, and that's just as bad. Don't be a punk, don't do this, go ahead and do it. Now, it's one thing for you to throw them off, and it's another thing for you to encourage somebody to do something, and it should be unlawful for you to do that, to try to embarrass somebody into doing something that is so dangerous. It costs him his life. And if they would have said, oh, no, man, don't do that, that's too dangerous. That's what we should be doing rather than encouraging each other to do stupid stuff. And encouraging somebody to do something so dangerous should be unlawful, in my opinion.
Well, the mom's going to have to take it further because there have been cases where these little young white girls talk their boyfriends into killing themselves over the internet and all this stuff. And they did, I believe, get some jail time. So the mom's going to have to push for that. Again, I want to thank you, and God bless you, Michael, and your family, your wife. And I do mean when I say you guys are here, y'all need to be pouring into this radio station. Shame on you people that have money, especially our athletes and millionaires and politicians, for not supporting like you need to. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, you got another caller on, Michael. Hello, caller. You're on. But Mike, did you ever? Wait a minute. Let me.
Well, I wanted to say
comment.
Yeah, very quickly about what you said about support. I don't know why. At one time we were fully supported.
Mm-hmm.
We were almost having to run from advertisers. We had so many. I would like to know what has changed. Has it gotten so that we don't feel that we need to support our communications vehicles anymore? Or do we not have the money to do it? I would like to know why I guess you could say why all of a sudden the lack of support. That is, it is concerning to say the least.
Absolutely.
What did we do? What didn't we do?
Somebody tell me, please.
Especially at a time when we have all these issues going on where people are trying to take more and more away from us. It seems like we should be coming together, planning, strategizing on ways to overcome what's going on here in Texas and in the United States of America. We are being marginalized. They're shooting down innocent people, basically criminalizing them, trying to justify their evil. In fact, for the Hispanic guy, they tried to say that he was a drug dealer. It's just anything to demonize an ethnic minority seems to be okay in the United States, even if you don't have any proof of it. But then you can have a person who has been found guilty of sexually assaulting a woman being president of the United States. But if you're black or brown or some other ethnicity and you're accused of spitting on the sidewalk, you need to be in prison. Crazy. Let's move.
All right. Hello, caller. You're on with the Top Jock.
TJ, the Top Jock. Sure.
Bobby Ray.
Michael, we depend on you to tell us the truth. So, Michael, where you got rid of those gas guzzling big trucks you had and traded for Tesla? They say you were seen down going down Waterville Road looking for a charging station. Is it true in that, Michael?
No, none whatsoever.
Thank you, Michael. We can depend on you.
None. I still have my Dodge Ram 1500 that I got from Rough Face Dodge. I still have my Lincoln Continental that I got from Midway Lincoln.
Yes, guzzlers. Thank you.
Gas,
thank you, Michael. Well, that's gas, though.
No. Well, I'll put it like this. I'd rather have a gas guzzler that will haul what I need hauling than a little putt-putt that can't haul nothing,
And stop hauling around doggone Ralph Cooper in the back. He's not talking about, are we there yet? Thank you, Mark.
Okay, Bobby Ray.
Hello, caller.
Let me say this very quickly.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Y'all have no idea of what a black man with a pickup has to go through. Everybody wants to borrow your truck. I have you haul something for them. And I've had so many people who have done good things for me that I actually do. The insurance company don't like you loaning it. So I do pick up and haul stuff for people. Because, again, you do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And if one of my friends told me, well, I can't use my truck for that, and I can say, well, I know you ain't my friend. Bye.
Welcome to Michael Moving. Michael. Hey, Michael.
Yo.
Michael Moving Company.
Well, again, if you don't help your neighbor, then who's going to help you?
Yeah.
That's all. We got to remember, we're in this together. We're, unless you were Tom, then you were my enemy.
All right. You want to call her?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hello, caller. You're on.
Well, good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call. Michael's moving and hauling.
Yeah.
You know, I want to say two things real quick. I mean, me, myself, personally, you know, when I call not only this show, the other, I try to make sure I try to make it make sense and, you know, have been my homework and research before I put information out. I mean, I listened to one of the previous calls and you asked her the question and she go, well, I'm just going more down her and, you know, but just because you saw it in the news or heard the news media don't always have the actual true facts right away, especially the mainstream media when it comes to issues to deal with black people. And if that person said, well, I'm just going with what other people say. That, to me, it just puzzles me. I don't understand it. But Michael and Paris, well, let me ask y'all this question. Y'all see everything that's going on in America like we do. And don't misunderstand me, we as black people, we do not make this stuff about race. It just so happens it is racism, some of it. But the fact we talk about it, you know, if we don't talk about it, point it out, who else is? Well, I mean, what we supposed to do, just ignore it like it's not happening, especially if it's happening to us? You falling from the DEI to the affordable housing to the injustice, unfairness. But we're not supposed to say anything about it at all. First time people say, oh, there they go talking about racism. They're going to make everything about race, you know. And it is, you know, racism and white supremacy. So, I mean, so if we don't say anything about it, address it, I mean, who else is? I mean, so what are we supposed to say and do about it, Mike and Paris, if we don't talk about it? What are we supposed to just ignore it?
Well, no, we can't, but we do put ourselves at risk in terms of, you know, Bud Harris, he used to be a good Negro, but now all of a sudden he's talking all that race stuff. Well, we can't associate with him. The truth is the truth. When you all were denying us all kinds of opportunities like you still are we just supposed to sit back and say we're going to wait on the Lord? Or are we going to call on the Lord to help us to fight the evil that we are facing in this country? We have to fight. Remember that song? We are soldiers in the army. We got to fight, although we have to die. I'm going to hold up that bloodstained banner. Going to hold it up. And that is equality until I die.
You know, and in view of it all, Michael, you know, as we talk about it, you know, I ask everybody, where is the lie? We going by the actual true facts and things that not only happened to us then, and still happen to us to this very moment, to this very day. It's like I always mention parents about the fearless fund where the African American females put their own financial resources together to help other black females with their business system. White financial institutions would not offer them the financial support of the financial grants, and one prejudiced white man, Ed Boom, decided to file a lawsuit and say, no, y'all can't do that. And you had the lower courts agree with the female, but the appeals court, who happened to have one of Donald Trump appointed judges on it, agreed with the white man. Said, no, Michael, you and Paris cannot put your own personal money together and help out other black people with business. And that was recent. So with that being said, so I guess, you know, what in the world they expect us to remember now when we left slavery and became sharecroppers, even, you know, even during the Black Wall Street with the Tulsa, Oklahoma, and other places like Tulsa, Oklahoma, they still weren't set because nobody was bothering them at all. And they still, so I think no matter what we do, what we say, even we avoid them and still try to be some happy go along by their own business Negroes, they're going to still find a way to bother us. What say you, Brother Paris, Michael?
Well, I think about the Hispanic gentleman who lived out in my general area of town who was shot down after being chased by some vehicles that were unmarked and by people who had no identification on them. What else was he to do if somebody was trying to hem him in? Don't forget, that happens a lot here in Houston. One is in the front and one is in the back, and they try to hem people in. And so if he tried to defend himself, they have shown no weapon that he had, but they shot and killed him. And thus far, nobody has been held responsible for that. So are we now in a society where anybody in an unmarked vehicle or unmarked vehicles can try to pull you in and shoot you down, and it's okay? or is it only okay if they are ICE agents? Don't we have the right to defend ourselves against someone? And people can pretend to be police officers as well. They'll paint their cars and act like they're police trying to pull you over, put on fake uniforms. Are we to bow down to everybody who comes at us? And he didn't shoot anybody. He simply was trying to get away from them. And
these ICE agents also have their faces covered up? They don't have because if you are law enforcement, you know, like I say, you know, they get, because I think they wear their faces covered up. So you're right, Paris. I mean, Michael, the vehicle was unmarked. You see these guys trying, and you think you're trying to pin me in, and I believe they probably had the mask because they don't show their faces. So what was that gentleman, anybody with some, this is supposed to do? You know, he went in panic, think somebody trying to rob him, kidnap him, so he was trying to get away the best he could. But then, Paris, Michael, now the story now is they believe they had drugs in the vehicle, and so they now found some like salt, but you could not see no drugs in the vehicle while you trying to stop him. You got to see no salt in the vehicle while you trying to stop him. So now that's the lie you give her, the narrative you give her. Well, he has something look like could have been cruised off some salt. It could have been some type of drug. You probably keep changing it, but nobody identified the ICE agents that, you know, wrongfully took the gentleman's life to this very day.
What do you say, Darren?
I say right on everything that he said. Right on everything that he said today. Look, I just did. The only reason I'm silent is because I really do listen to Michael myself, and so I try to stay out of this hour. But as but as producer, I do get, you know, I get pulled in. I get too, particularly when Michael and I are talking. We do start talking. You know, I can get out there. But I second everything that that Chris has said.
I'm not a radical.
That Chris has said. Just absolutely. And you know me during my time of the show. Chris knows, and others know. You know, I got strong feelings about it. So, you know. And
hey, I'll tell you now get out the way, Michael. Michael, I remember you shared something with us, Michael. I think you was trying to buy a soda pop or something. You was a youngster in the store, and you got in trouble for it. And I mean, how did that make you feel as a kid during that time?
Well, my grandfather told me that that's why he don't take me nowhere. And it, of course, I remember it vividly because he told me that they could have killed me. And here I am, 4 or 5 years old, and somebody's gonna kill me because I walked in a store. I didn't know the rules.
But you really think they would kill the kid? You really think they would kill the kid back then, Michael? You was on about 4 or 5. You really think they would kill the kid?
They bombed our churches, didn't they? And they killed those. What is it? Was it 4 little girls, 5 little girls? I met the sister of one of those girls years ago. We did, they came to town, something that Ben Hall, when he was running for mayor, was involved in. And yeah, they bombed churches. You don't think they killed children?
They killed pregnant women. So just let me put that in there, you know, and there's graphic writing about that in some places. So, yeah, there are graphic accounts of that. From the newspapers of that day.
And
so,
little kids in the
can be upset with us for talking about after 2, you know, historic events, and they keep them from happening. Because I remember one thing the Jews said of the Holocaust and their situation, they made a statement afraid. They say never again. We must also adopt that same mindset, never again.
Well, you also have to adopt their color if you want to survive. That was a bad joke.
All right, Michael.
So,
here we are.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello.
Because, anyway, yeah, be quiet, Michael.
Yeah, John, cup of coffee.
What's up?
It's funny Sunny day in Houston. Sunny day in Houston. Smoking hot out here, though. Smoking hot. Yeah, listen, you always, a lot of conversation going on here with the politics, right? And I'm just trying to understand this idea about representation. The way it's written on a piece of paper, the citizen votes, elect someone, that person goes to whatever entity they represent, council, city council, county, state, federal, or judge, right? And then they based on whatever platform they got, presented, they then go represent that area of people who elected them, right? That's what they're supposed to. Yeah. I'm starting to think that Malcolm had it right in saying that people are just completely being manipulated by that idea that they're being represented. What do you think, Mike? Well, we have representatives who represent us, and we have representatives who represent themselves. But it's up to us to vote for or against those people, and if we vote for someone who is like Trump, then we have to live with it until we can get rid of them and get someone who is there really to represent us. These are obviously to represent the super rich. And our black politicians, brown politicians, red, yellow, they are selected by people who hope that they will represent their communities at the best of their ability. Some of them are there, obviously, for, to build connections for themselves, to enrich themselves. And we have to vote against those people the next time an election comes and get someone who's there to represent you and help you to, do better as well as help themselves. Yeah, nobody's in it for nothing. Exactly. No one would raise $100 million to take a job paying $250 unless there was something more to that job in it for them. You bet your biffy. So, when people target Trump, and fair enough, isn't the problem with their representative who is not holding Trump accountable? Well, it's kind of difficult to hold a president who has his hand-picked Supreme Court ruling for everything almost that he puts out there because he's taking care of them too. I don't think they're not getting rich, the ones who are on his side. Oh, yeah, they are. It's no doubt. I mean, it's been leaked. But I'm saying, but he doesn't need the bench or the court as much as he needs the Congress. Trump. No, he needs the Supreme Court more than he needs the Congress, because all the Supreme Court has to do is rule against whatever Congress says. They are the final. They are the final. Once they make a decision, that's it. Congress can pass another law, and they can rule that law illegal. The Supreme Court is all-powerful, baby. I tend to disagree on that one. Okay, who overrules the Supreme Court? No one. That's what I'm telling you. If they make a decision, that's it. But until they make another ruling, it is the law. Yeah, but that
and Trump has bought the Supreme Court.
By the time it gets to the court and all the processes it has to go through to get to that ruling, in the meantime, the Congress has the leverage.
If they want to pass something, it takes no time. All they have to do is call a meeting and rule against you, and that's that. You can appeal, but you're appealing to the same people who made the ruling. And if somebody leaves, he just appoints somebody new who's in his corner. And we used to believe that the Supreme Court was an independent group, based on, I guess you could say, their ability as lawyers, whatever. But now we see that it is just another political office.
I'd like to suggest one other thing, and because it is part of the process, it's available there. Congress has the alternative to write a new law. Sometimes when the Supreme Court smacks down something that Congress has done, the judges will tell the Congress what they want to do, and they will send them signals. They will say, well, no, your argument there is better placed if you refer to this case or that case, or you can't do this, you can't do that. And then Congress can go back, and depending upon what it is, Congress can go back and rewrite that law. But that generally doesn't happen. As a rule, that doesn't happen unless it's something really, really big and explosive. It can take 10, 20 years to get that law right, because they're just going to appeal it again. Somebody will. So yeah,
somebody will. Yeah, but I think the overall point is, though, Mike, that I think it's a I think there's some lie that exists in this word representation. It's probably always existed. Yes. Yeah. I think it's been a lie that's been promoted through cartoons all the way through books and so forth.
No, I think originally it was. At least I hope they did originally. We had no vote, and so we had no one to represent us. The slave owners, the landed whites, are the ones who made all the rules, and other people who lived here were subjects, under the we had to follow those rules, even if they were negative toward us. Don't forget, the white man could rape your wife because they didn't have to recognize us as human beings. They could kill us. It wasn't murder. Supreme Courts, if they had them back then, okayed that. And that was.
I think that was okayed at the local level as well. But go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, the law is whatever they say the law is. And if they ever decide that we're not human beings, guess what? We won't be human beings in the United States of America.
And you've got one other caller before you get to the top.
Yeah. Well, Mike, my only point is that I think there's a lie in this word about representation.
Okay, he's going to have to get to that. Let me see what I got here. Hello, caller, you're on.
Yeah, I have to agree. There's been a lie with regard to representation, no question about it, globally. I'm trying to make it my business for quite a few decades now. I'm trying to talk to people across this world how they feel about the sentiments of let's just say the governances that they're under. And I would agree. And it seems to be that consensus exists much more across the world than it does by and large here in the U.S., which I find strange. But the caller is right. Malcolm did come back with quite a big different perspective on a lot of things after having a chance to go overseas. But the way I look at it is like this. Okay, Take as you got a corporation, right? You built a corporation. It became very powerful, very strong, very lucrative. And it wound up spreading, so you had a whole lot of subsidiaries all over the place. All across the country, globe, wherever. You had a whole lot of subsidiaries. And the people who ran the subsidiaries got to the point they started playing with the books. Now, when you started the company, and the people who ran the subsidiaries get the bulk share of the money from the plan that you made. But the people who are working for the subsidiaries all feel they're working for that prime directive company that started everything all together in terms of the main boss. All right. Automatically, there's a little problem with that. There's a little injustice in there. So the guy who started up everything, he deserves the credit. All right. One of the things I'm seeing across the world, a lot of people that realize, I mean, you can start looking at it from an Abrahamic sense. Christianity, Orthodox, so-called Judaism, Islam. A lot of people across the globe say there's one creator. But they turn around and they look at it and they say, wait a minute, we're all serving the same creator. Who's keeping us at war and arguing with each other? Now, a lot of folks don't want the war, but they feel themselves being manipulated by people in places of power. Now, the one thing that gets me very simple is this. The Messiah authorized disciples, empowered disciples to go forth and teach